It's heavy. Famous love. Yeah, I gotta keep it trendy on my soul. I'm the most selfish person that I know. Here we go, down the rabbit hole. Got a couple carrots around my neck. Self-respect, when you out of line, you put yourself in check. They don't hear me, they don't hear me though. Cycles going round and round and round like a merry-go. Stand for truth, or fall for any old scenario. That's why I keep my circle smaller than a Cheerio. Cause it's the company you keep. Stay woke, please don't get caught sleep. End up sowing what you reap. Know your worth, and don't sell cheap. The ghost is inside of me, can't take it out of me. No matter where I've been, it's about where I'm meant to be. I be shining perfect timing, check your watch. And I know who I am, I am no longer lost. I got tired of walking around with a mask on, smiling but my heart singing sad songs. Yeah, I was living for myself, I was dead wrong till I got the call, no cell phone. I got tired of walking around with a mask on, smiling but my heart singing sad songs. Yeah, I was living for myself, I was dead wrong till I got the call, no cell phone. Man, you talking to the real me. Yeah, man, you talking to the real me. Yeah, man, you talking to the real me. Yeah, made in this image, I'm a young man. You talking to the real me. Yeah, man, you talking to the real me. Yeah, man, you talking to the real me. Yeah, made in this image, I'm a young OG boy.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I bust soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my room. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in a room. I been so real, I'm dead to the tomb. They in the way, they gotta move. I got a gas, they running on fumes. Told them way back, it's something new. It's me and Dan, you gotta choose. I'm taking what's mine, I'm doing fine. Don't see the vision, they looking so blind. I hit my lawyer, don't got the time. Crossing my T's and he dotting those eyes. Don't take offense if I do not oblige. I can't relate but like none of these guys. They hit me once and I'm cutting the ties. I was so low but I'm back on the rise, it's real. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I bust soon. Knew as a child, back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my room. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm hopping now I gotta go. I'm looking back, they not even close. I had a 4, now I need a ghost. I got a wave like I'm on the coast. Same ones are down and I dare the show. So way that I'm ballin', they think I'm a pro. I'm getting sick by the money I gross. They saying whoa, I told them all what this is. I told them all I don't miss. Said it's my time, look at this shit on my wrist. And when they shooting this breaks, I'm going in a new gear, gotta shift. I cannot stick to the script, I cannot wait. Watch how I get it and flip. It's just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone. Just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone. Ayy, just how I'm doing this shit and I'm gone.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. we go. At the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Frankie Candles live stream right here. Welcome back to Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for getting my own intro here, guys. And Bitcoin getting the pop to the upside, guys. What is coming next? Can we see new all-time highs? Is it all a fake out for a massive dump to the downside? Where are we in the cycle? What the heck is going on next? Are we going to see alt season come in? We're going to break it all down on tonight's live stream, guys. We're going to take a look at some of the key levels down below us right now if we do get a pullback, some of the key levels that we're rejecting right now, and what we're expecting next here for Bitcoin as we inch closer and closer to all-time highs, missing that all-time high by about 0.47%. Let me know in the chat what you guys think is coming next. I think we do have a poll up here. Tony D dropping that poll. Bitcoin all-time highs or bust? We got about 49% of people saying yes, almost there. 34% of people saying no, soon will dump. And 18%, I have no clue, help. Shout out to option number 3. But yeah, I'm going to try to clear everything up here on the charts with you guys and at least give you the information that I'm looking at. I can't promise you that what we want to play out will play out, but I'm going to give you the bullish case, the bearish case. I will let you know which way I'm leaning and the next biggest levels of support and resistance that we need to break in order to see new all-time highs. And hint, hint, guys, we are pretty much above that major key level. And I think if you guys watch the live stream, you will know the exact key level that I'm talking about. But shout out to everybody in the chat. We got, we got the Future West in chat. My voice acting a little weird here tonight, guys. We got Cypher in the chat. Shout out Servando Estrada. What is going on? We got attract everybody dropping the turtles in the chat, guys. I still don't understand the turtles, guys. You guys spammed turtles yesterday, and it completely caught me off guard. It was an intense spam, too. I have no idea what it means, but shout out to all the turtles out there. But let's see here. We got XRP Army in the chat. Shout out to the XRP Army. Gen Z wants to take a look at NAS and AVAX. We will take a look at some of those altcoins as well tonight, guys. And we are going to be doing giveaways, guys. And just a reminder, we are now going to be doing USDT giveaways, not Cardano giveaways. Tony was letting me know that he got some Cardano addresses because I think it was a little unclear on the last giveaway. But this week and moving forward, I think we're going to be doing USDT. So when you send those addresses over to get your prize, make sure it's a USDT address, not a Cardano address. Shout out to K Diggity, said this is our chance to teach Frankie something. Yeah, K Diggity, can somebody give me a legitimate explanation of what the turtles are? Ninja Turtles. That's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, let's see. Shout out to No One, says time to short, soon dump. Shout out to No One. And of course, guys, I am going to give you the bullish and the bearish case. Although I hope price pumps, I got to give you the bearish case as well because, as you guys know, price goes up and down, and we make money going either direction. So we got to know if it's going to dump. Shout out to Crypto Billy in the chat. What is going on, Billy? Welcome in, Welcome in, dude. Welcome in, dude. Welcome in. Happy to have you here, brother. We got Jesse in the chat. Who else do we have as far as mods? We got Captain Kirk dropping the 5 Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go. Shout out to Captain Kirk getting the stream started right with those memberships. We got Chatmaster in the chat. Crypto Billy dropping hashtag value, which we're going to spit a ton of value here tonight on the live stream, guys. DJ Mac in the chat. Mr. Ethereum. Brad Jones, Alex, and without, last but not least, we got the William dropping a frog in the chat, guys. What is with the frog? Should we get a pet frog? Guys? Let me know. But anyway, without further ado, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. We are doing the giveaways at the end of the stream, so stick around till the end for the giveaways and smash up that like button if we get 650 likes. We're upping it today, guys. Bitcoin's pumping, or kind of pulling back now, but Bitcoin was pumping, so we're going to make it 650. Get 650 likes on tonight's live stream. I'll add another $100 to the stream. We'll give away $100 to somebody, as well as 10 bags of USDT. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Paul says, Frankie, the Turtle King. I am the I am the controller. I am the god of all turtles, guys. They all worship me. I'm just kidding. Shout out to shout out to F80M8 dropping the 5 Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Gift of the memberships. If you just got those memberships, guys, you should have access to special emojis and maybe one day some special members-only live streams. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, let's continue on here. Can we do CRV? Yes. All right, so let's take a look. So obviously, guys, let's just go back in time and try to figure out, how we got to where we were right now. So going back to Monday, right, we had the bounce off the 786, and then we got this reclaim of the value area low sitting at $112,600. In which case, we were looking to get accepted into this volume profile for a potential fulfill of the range, targeting, finally, the value area high at about $119,000. And obviously, this was a little bit of a range leading up to about $120K. But for the most part, we had that flip of the value area low into support, which is very nice to see based off the volume profile theory, as well as our money flow, specifically on the 4-hour time frame, crossing into the green and making us anticipate the continuation of that uptrend, right? We actually were rejecting a golden pocket 786 zone here, but we were not looking for lower highs and lower lows to be the higher probability because why? Money flow is coming up. So that means that sure, you can get that rejection off that Fibonacci retracement with the key support below you. You could, with the money flow coming up, say that the higher probability is the higher low and the higher high. And on top of that, you have the volume profile pointing in the same direction. And we were looking up to target, coming up to target really between about $119,000 and $120,000. I think our market update even said, I think I deleted the weekly MPOC that we had there, but we obviously had a weekly MPOC sitting at about $119,000, leading us all the way up to the macro 786 Fibonacci retracement, which obviously, guys, was a huge, and still is, a huge level. So that zone, right, the next target was going to be between about $119,000 and that $120,800 level. We had some other local levels of resistance earlier in the week. We had the 115 to 115.6K level. Zero reaction there, zero short. I actually did get stopped out of a few trades this week, guys. I got stopped out of 2 short positions up here, I believe. One was a small loss, and then the other one was break even. They were either both break even, or one was a small loss, and then this one was a break even. But obviously, once we got above 115.6K, next target was the point of control of the range. And then once we flip that, we look to take out that liquidity above 119 to 120K. And now we have gotten that breakout above the 786 Fibonacci retracement, which is obviously, oh my God, the 1 second chart, guys, absolutely moon. No, I'm just kidding. It's Friday, guys. I'm losing my mind here. But obviously, when we take a look at the higher time frames, right, and just the simple Fibonacci theory here, let me go ahead and get this stuff off the chart. Let me hide this and just pull up that 786 retracement in all of its beauty here from the absolute high here, the all-time high at 124,550 all the way to the low. That 786, guys, is the level. And this is going to be important going into the weekend, guys, because this is the level. This is the last level that if we are able to flip to support, I would say, as long as we're able to stay above here, we could keep the doorway into new all-time highs, and especially when we see the money flow not only on the 4-hour, but also on the 5-hour, also on the 6-hour, also on the 8-hour in the green here. And then, even on the daily here, we do have that push into the green. Now, listen, guys, at the end of the day, this is nice. Daily money flow coming into the green. This has obviously been very choppy lately. We had the VWAP rolling over here, which potentially could give us a daily red dot, which could give us the pullback. But, for what it's worth, the daily money flow is in the green. 2-day money flow still attempting to come up here. We're still a little bit cautious of this being a lower high before crossing over into the red for a much bigger dump, which would be the bearish case. And I have to go over that with you guys. But the good news here is as we are above the 786 and some other key levels that I'm going to go over, as long as we stay above those levels, we can look for higher lows and higher highs for potential new all-time highs to come. But at the end of the day, guys, the big thing to watch here on the weekly candle, which is the 2-day candle. You want to look at the actual weekly candle. I would love to see, just like back here, we were in the same exact scenario. We had the golden pocket, 786 from the high to the low. 786 came right in here at about 129, pretty close to where it is right now. And we got that break above, right? We looked for the all-time high. We got it, but we did take shorts up here in the premium Discord in anticipation of some kind of a cool-off. But once we closed that weekly candle below this golden pocket 786, guys, it did indeed indicate that we were going to see a break of structure to the downside here for a new low to come. And it is a very similar situation here. If we're able to close this weekly candle above the 786, and again, I'll get rid of the other one. If we close this candle on the weekly above the 786, I would love to see this, right? We still have some time to come back down below, and just like, last time, right, we could get above it. It's really exciting, and then over the weekend, we come back down, we close that weekly candle below the 786, and then in that case, you have a high, a low, a technical lower high, and a lower low to come. Right now, this looks good, just like it did up here to begin with before we got the dump over the weekend. But this looks pretty good, right? If we get the pullback and we close this weekly candle below the 786, we have to be aware, right, that could be, right? If we're looking for the rejection here for a lower high and a lower low, high, low, lower high, lower low, right? This could come in that 786 golden pocket zone. That's where you would anticipate it to come in at, and that weekly candle closure above the 786 is going to be absolutely huge to look for. In my own personal opinion, it helped us identify that this was going to be a fake breakout, and we were able to short that all the way down on the premium Discord. It's going to be the same thing up here, guys. Closing that weekly candle below the 786, sitting at $120,800, could be a little bit more of a bearish sign. And we also have some local levels that in context that I'll go over with you guys on the lower time frames, but it is... Bitcoin is at a turning point, guys. Obviously, we've been waiting for these levels, and it is definitely 100% an absolute nail-biter, as we've been talking about forever. The good news here is that, obviously, when we take a look at our macro support here at $107,000, we held this, right? As long as we were able to hold above this level, we were indeed potentially looking for new all-time highs. And that doorway is still open, obviously, because we're way above 107K now. But, the overall, I'm going to go over the long term as well a little bit with you guys today, because I really do think, like, it's I know I say it all the time, right? And sometimes it is make or break locally, but this is like make or break for Bitcoin in a very, very big way because, we are either going to see this final parabola build out here and get us a push into new all-time highs, in which case, by the way, as I always say, guys, I'm not anticipating this to be the start of the Bitcoin bull market, right? We've taken a lot of check-ins here at the higher time frames on our cycle chart saying, like, look how close we are to getting the end of this cycle to come in. From a 4-year cycle perspective, we are getting near where we would expect the top to come in at. And the question is, are we going to get that parabolic move up, right? Or is this some kind of fake out lower high before actually getting the big dump down? Absolutely critical moment for crypto right now, in my own personal opinion. It's like we're at the level where we want to break out of, but if we get rejected, it could be a massive dump. So my personal bias here, right, as long as we could close that weekly candle above the 786 Fibonacci retracement that I just brought up, I think that's a good sign that all-time highs are going to be coming in. And even right now, right, it doesn't look too bad for all-time highs to come in. When we look at the local levels here, pull up the current range, right, we have our volume profile here, right? This helped us. We got the rejection for the POC, also shorted this as well. But now we're back in this range. We went to the high. We do have to be careful, right, of potential deviations above the high for rotations back into the profile and then a big rotation back down, which could eventually be ugly because at that point, right, we would be rejecting that 786 if we close that weekly candle below. And it could be very similar to this where you're looking for that breakdown, which in my opinion could be looking down below $107,000. And again, it's not my base case. It's an if this, then that situation. But just to give you guys all that, I have to give you both sides of the coin, right? As always, the bullish case, the bearish case, and then which way I'm leaning. I would say as long as we can stay above this volume profile, higher lows and higher highs can still be in the cards based off our money flow and the fact that, hey, if we're going to break out of this range, you got to break out and then hopefully hold it as support. The lowest I would be willing to come here would be the point of control. And I'm going to bring up some other local levels as far as Fibonacci retracements that are also somewhat confluent with this level. Also, we have a daily naked point of control at about 119,187, giving us a little bit of confluence on that value area high. So from like a very simple outlook here, guys, you really just want to stay above this value area, right? I'd be okay, right? If we get like a little weekend dump here, right? Maybe you wick into the POC, but if you could reclaim, right? We could still overall look for higher lows and higher highs. Right now, I would say we did push into our resistance level that we had up here. Yeah, I mean, it's, we could get the pullback, right? Like, this doesn't mean it's necessarily over. But the key levels that I will be looking at are, again, just $120,000 value area high. The MPOC comes in at 119,193. And if we pull our fib retracement here, let me come on down to a lower time frame. If we pull our Fibonacci retracement, there's a few places you could pull this. And again, I'm not going to pull the hyper local ones, right? If I pull from this low to the high, right, it's kind of the same thing. It's like you're still staying on top of that value area high. But if we pull this down just a little bit more here, you can see, right, golden pocket daily MPOC confluence, and then you also have the 786 and the POC. These are the two biggest levels to look at, in my opinion. If we are just going to continue up here, I would hope that we can hold here. or here, if we lose this point of control /786, well, that's where I would expect to potentially get pushed back down a little bit deeper into this profile. And I know it's like, Frankie, we're pushing up. Like, why do we have to even look at this? Well, at the end of the day, guys, like the volume profiles, even here, right? It's like we got up here and it's like, then we're dumping. We flip this level to support. You know, the high probability is the fill of the range, right? So if we wind up getting back in here and the 4-hour money flow, maybe the 1 hour, the 2 hour money flow starts crossing over into the red, this is not what we want to see, right? Because what is that telling me? We got the rotation, the deviation above. There's a million different scenarios that can play out here, guys. Maybe we kind of range around up here and then get the drop. But if we do come back down here and we start losing that point of control, value area high, 786, this entire zone right here, and money flow is crossing over into the red or aggressively coming out on the 1 and the 2 hour, this would be like, hey, lose that POC. Just very simply put, not just based off the volume profiles alone, but also that money flow could indicate that you could get that bigger drop to the downside. And that's simply what I'm going to be looking for. But until then, with the 4-hour money flow looking pretty good, I mean, even the 2-hour money flow, thick in the green, you know, it is definitely possible to put in those higher lows and the higher highs. So, yeah, I mean, just pretty good until we start losing into this. I start questioning it once we get back into this volume profile, plain and simple. Now, locally, obviously, guys, I think anybody who watches this stream to any degree will know, well, hey, we do have some bearish divergences forming up here. I mean, this is kind of wonky, right? It's just like vertical line, right, with our lower highs on our momentum waves. We got a little 2-hour red dot printing. Even the 3-hour here looking to print a potential bearish divergence. Again, you know, these are somewhat contextual, right? Like, I don't know. Like, these are not oftentimes, like, I mean, it is definitely higher highs with lower highs. It's just, like, typically what I like to see there is, like, I would be much more comfortable seeing some kind of, like, a local value area high, right? Without, like, the steep climb to the upside. Like, they're not all created equal, right? So, like, I would be a little bit more worried if we have the bearish divergence up here. But at the end of the day, even the 2-hour red dot, the 3-hour VWAP, you could see is coming to the 0 line, looking to potentially print that red dot. So it wouldn't be surprising, right? Like, and we are also rejecting a couple levels here. We looked at them yesterday. And I hate to expose this on the internet, guys, but I messed up. We've been looking at a daily naked point of control, and I believe it was sitting at about 122.7, I believe, was the level. And this is actually my mistake. There is no daily naked point of control here. I messed that up, right? And the reason is we actually had an MPOC here that was already tapped, and I must have not taken it off the chart, and I just saw it as a fresh naked daily naked point of control. The plus side here is we actually looked. Shout out to ADD Dad telling us to look at the 886 retracement. We had the 886 in that same exact level, right? It was like very, very confluent with that daily naked point of control. So there really is no daily naked point of control there, but it is still a level with the 886 sitting here. So kind of a mess up on my part, but still a valid level in some really lucky way. But just keep that in mind, right? Like we are at the last level of resistance before I would definitely, we break above these levels, guys. I'm looking for all-time highs. If we cool off, higher lows and higher highs off the golden pocket, 786 POC, that would be that zone. And if you want to look at this as just like a larger zone to keep it nice and simple, 120,000 down to about 117.5. These are the levels I want to hold. And as soon as we break above that last resistance level, guys, there's literally nothing above us, right? Like the only thing left there is really the all-time high. But at that point, right, you're above the 786. You're looking for the break of structure to the upside. And then new all-time highs is the only thing that you can target. And I will bring up some of those targets in case we do break up over the weekend. But I would just say locally here, you got some red dots looking to print, 4-hour VWAP looking to roll over, even though the money flow looks great, right? Money flow indicates the overall trend, but does not indicate the little pullbacks that you see. All right, so any red dots here based off the 4-hour just have to pretty much be treated as lackluster retracements, higher lows and higher highs, just to give you an idea on why that is my bias, right? But yeah, short-term pullbacks. I mean, we're at resistance. We got the move up. We tapped the resistance. I mean, we could pull back here with the red dots. Just keep that in mind. I'm not holding a short position as of right now. Doesn't mean it can't come down, but I'm just, I like to keep you guys updated on the trades. I'm not currently holding a short position right now. As a matter of fact, I got stopped out of 2 short positions this week, but small losses. And of course, I am still holding the long position where I should have been liquidated on, and that is up massively, right? So the long just continued to pay me out. But yeah. Other than that, very exciting, guys, right? Like every target here just getting smacked based off the volume profile. And not only that, but also that fake daily MPOC that we had up there. Alt season incoming. Shout out to KN. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm going to go over the long term with you guys because I know a lot of you guys might not be day traders or scalpers. You might just be here looking for like long-term analysis, like, is the bull market going to continue or is it all over? Obviously, until we break down here, right? Because at the end of the day, guys, I like to look at the 786 as the last level to put the lower high in at, right? But at the end of the day, right, you're still at that 886. It could just be like an extended retracement. It's not typically what I look at least historically. I just started looking at these when, shout out to ADD Dad, I don't know if he's in here, but a couple people told me to start looking at the 886, and I've been playing around with it, and it is sometimes you will get that extended retracement. So I would have to say, like, it's not 100% invalidated here. Just because we're above the 786. This is typically what I look for. I've never had a problem just looking at the 786, but at the end of the day, we still have resistance here, right? Break above this, all-time highs next. That's what I'm looking at. So yeah, exciting times, guys. And as far as alt season, right, I do want to look at the higher time frames and just go over the kind of longer term health of the cycle, because this is a difficult time, guys. You're gonna have everybody out there. It's a fake out, bear market incoming. You're gonna have people coming in. The bull market's just getting started. The bears are gonna get wrecked, right? This is all just like emotional, ego-driven conversation, right? But at the end of the day, in my opinion, there are a bunch of things. Like, there's a lot of good things about the chart, right? Obviously, our weekly money flow still looks pretty healthy here. It is continuing to the upside very nicely, and the mixed signals are kind of crazy, right? You can see the money flow kicking up very nicely here. We broke above these lower highs. So this is looking nice. Weekly green dot still printing. But then, when you look at money flow, right? Weekly looks okay. 6-day looks okay, right? 5-day looks not great, right? This is still technically trending out. 4-day looks miserable. 3-day looks great, right? So you do have a lot of mixed signals here. But again, we've been taking a look at a lot of other things as far as like the macroeconomic situation and just like across the traditional markets, right? Bitcoin follows the traditional markets. This is not an argument. This is just what has been happening. This is what has happened in the past. Yes, the 4-year cycle theory, I get it. I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything. But again, you start thinking about the 4-year cycle, and we're getting pretty close here, guys. Like, it would be hilarious if we get another blow off top here into these fib levels, and then the top comes in like sooner than later. It would just be right on time. But if you are looking at the 4-year cycles, if you believe in the 4-year cycle, this should be very, not concerning, but this should be very interesting to you, and you should be wanting to pay attention to this very, very closely, right? We have technically the looser monetary policy, even though it's a slow cutting cycle. You have the looser monetary policy. You have the Bitcoin dominance still looking weak from a high time frame perspective, not necessarily from a lower time frame perspective, because if you look at the dominance here, we've been keeping an eye on this daily money flow, which has been attempting to cruise to the upside here. If we get a bounce here on dominance, guys, this is obviously going to either stall out or be bad for altcoins. But within the overall trend, right, you see the daily money flow coming up. Maybe that means that this trend could continue up slightly, right, based off the daily time frame. But on a higher time frame, when you look at something like the 2-day, right, money flow is still in the red. 3-day money flow is still in the red as well, with the VWAP rolling over. I would still look at this, even if we get a bounce on dominance, right, we're still going to be looking for those lower highs and lower lows, right, which would be good for alt season, right? It doesn't guarantee it. It doesn't mean alt season is going to start on November 2nd of this year. Like, it doesn't matter exact timing wise, right? We just have to pay attention to the charts, right? If we wiggle around here sideways and then just dump from here, well, guess what? It could happen sooner. But just with the way the charts look, I would say long term still bearish, right? But short term, right, you could go up for that retracement. So like locally, you could consider that bullish. But when you take a look at a high time frame, it is still looking like it is weak on the higher time frames. And that would be good for altcoins, right? Looser monetary policy. You have dominance looking weak on the higher time frames. A lot of things looking pretty good, right? Another thing that we look at is the RTY, right? RTY is tapping, guys. Tapping on this level. We pulled this level yesterday on the RTY saying this is the Fibonacci retracement. Like, we don't want to put the lower high in here. We broke out. We tried to peak above the high again, and now we're back down here to the 786. So, like, when I say it's a nail biter, guys, RTY trying to break out, you have total 3 back up against the resistance here. And when I say nail biter, I am not joking, right? It's like you're either going to break out here and it's super exciting, or you're going to get a massive rejection from this huge resistance level. So when I look at Bitcoin, that's where I say stay above $107,000, right? Like, it does look pretty good. But if we get that rejection from this resistance level and we wind up breaking structure, like, this could be very, very bad for Bitcoin, in my opinion, right? It's like 2 options, obviously. Either the top is in or we're going up for one last move, in my opinion. Do I think this is the start of the massive bull market to 500K? Not personally. Right? If I see a reason to call for that up there, I will. But as of right now, guys, even if we, and I cover this a lot because I know that the sentiment is going to be super bullish if we go into new all-time highs, which it would be, right? It's like, oh my God, we're at 130K. This is great, right? But what you don't want to miss the forest for the trees, right? This bull market has been going on for quite some time. And even looking at it from a cycle perspective, right? Especially if you believe in the 4-year cycle, right? Like, you have to understand that we are nearing the end here based off that theory. So it's like, Is the top already in, or are we going out for that last parabola? I would say both options are on the table here. I wish I could just call 100% in one direction. Again, I would lean a little bit more bullish here just because of the price action locally. But, it's all this is a huge weekend for Bitcoin, right? Like if we can close above that 786, it would be very, very nice. But if not, it can get very ugly very fast. And you guys can see how fast this can change, right? Last time we went into new all-time highs, everyone's like, oh my God, this is great. And we were looking for all-time highs. So this is what we wanted to see. But when you know what to look for on the charts for a potential huge rejection, we are going to be paying attention to that, guys. And I don't care if I have to get stopped out of another third short position, right? If I see a reason to take a short, I might take another stab. I might take 3 losses this week. But guess what? They're small losses, and they are nothing compared to the long that I'm in, which, honestly, I might not take as many short opportunities, right? I might not take a shot as many shorts as I have this week if I wasn't holding that long position. And I already told the story about that long position. I should have been liquidated. I deserve to get liquidated on that position, but I don't know what happened, right? My fault. I don't care if it was the exchange or not. It's actually funny because, do I still have this open? Yeah, this is up about almost 10 grand now. And for anyone who doesn't know, right, this was part of a position that I took down here. Thought I had my stop loss set. Could have sworn it was set. And I came back to check on this position. I was up on the long, and I was like, wait, I thought I got stopped out of this. And I missed liquidation by like $200. Not something to brag about, especially if I just forgot to set the stop loss. But either way, it's my fault, right? It doesn't matter if the exchange messed up. Someone actually told me on this exchange that they've had trouble with stop losses. I always just direct it towards, it's my fault no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's not my fault. It's still my responsibility. But it is interesting that some other people said they had problems with stop losses here. But either way, if I was not in this long position, I'd probably be a little bit more conservative taking a shot at the shorts. But when I lose like $200 or get stopped out at break even on a short, it's almost like risk-free, right? Like if I can get an area where I think there's going to be a reaction, I can get into some profit. That's what happened last night. We actually letting the premium Discord know that I was going to take a short position. Right up here, we have the 786. We were rejecting it absolutely perfectly right here. And I did take that short. I got into profit, moved my stop loss to break even. Thank God, right? It was a risk-free short. If we dumped overnight, cool. I shorted the top. If not, I got stopped out for 0 loss. Maybe I paid a little bit of fees. But now that, because I have this short open, whether it was supposed to be open or not, right? The fact of the matter is I am still holding that position, and it's nice because I could take a couple shot at low-risk hedges here to try to catch the top. And if not, right, I'll just get stopped out for another small loss, and the long continues to pay us out. But that's pretty much what I'm looking at here, guys. And from a cycle perspective, just understand where we are timing-wise. It's so important to understand where we are timing-wise. I don't know why I can't find this chart ever. I got to zoom out. There we go, right? Just understand where we are in the cycle, right? When we look back at 2021, right? And we've talked about this many times as well, right? You do have the high time frame bearish divergences. You have the monthly bearish divergence, which is now confirmed as soon as we confirm that candle for last month, right? Lower highs, higher highs. Like if I just had to say it simply, if the top is not in, which locally it looks like we can put it in a new all-time high. So my bias would be to see new all-time highs until we start losing that local value area high at 120 to about $119,000. That increases the probability that we won't see all-time highs. But, it's either the high is in or we're going to go out for that last parabola. But everyone's going to be screaming, oh my God, golden super cycle, it's never going back down. That is not my bias, guys. It would be good for views for me to just call for that and call for that and call for that. And I think people don't even care if you're wrong, if you're calling for the upside, because eventually when it goes up, they'll be like, hey, we believed in you. Eventually we were going to be right. But I'm here to show you guys both sides of the coin. I don't want people getting caught off sides here. And that's why, to me, it is always going to break down to the technicals. You might say to yourself, well, it's like, obviously either the high is in or it's not. But when you know what to look for on the charts here, it's like we break down below this POC, close the weekly candle below that 786 Fibonacci retracement at 120,800, right? Like this starts to look a lot like this, right? Which did break us to the downside, and that could break us below 107K, which don't forget, that $107,000 level is losing that is a huge sign of weakness for Bitcoin, right? This is not what we want to see. This is not what I'm rooting for. But there is a scenario where you can see that play out. And if you don't want that to play out, you want that weekly candle closure above $120,800. And yes, at the end of the day, you can close the weekly candle, and then next week we can get a mega pump above it. But we're just speaking probabilities here. There's no way to know exactly 100% what is going to happen. That's why risk management is so important. I didn't know if this was 100% going to give us the dump, right? But I don't have to risk my entire account. I could take small losses, or in this case, take profits and stop out at break even, right? Literally a risk-free trade here. It's like a free lottery ticket. It's like, hey, if it dumps, cool, I make a bunch of money. If I get stopped out, I just didn't spend any money. All right, let me come in here real quick to the chat. Shout out to Crypto Breakfast Club says, when 500K? I would say 500K probably July 22nd, 2027. I'm just kidding. 2029 bull run will be very different. This is the last bull run for the average Joe. Shout out to Don Crypt. That could be possible. That definitely could be possible. So, it is very, it's like there's a lot of good things, but there's also a lot of warning signs as well, right? If the top is not in, that even if it's not in right now, that we could see it come in very soon. Now, the next targets to the upside, guys, let's just assume we're going to get the pop into new all-time highs, which would be very, very, very nice to see. And yes, I am rooting for that, even though we just covered the bearish case. But the next targets to the upside I will be looking at are going to be sitting between about 100, and there's a few different targets, right? Because if we go super high time frame, we could pull our fib from the high to the low. We have our Fibonacci extension, our next major bull market target. For me personally, there we go. For me personally, my first bull market target was sitting between $92,000 and $102,000. I did take a little bit of profit on my Bitcoin here, very small amount, right? Because I did not think this was the overall top, but I did know that this is my first bull market target. And based off my plan, because you should always have a plan, whether you're investing or trading, right? My plan was, hey, first target for the bull market, going to be sitting right up here. If we break the all-time high, I'm going to expect this to be the first place to stop off at, right? What happens? We stop off and we get the dump. Again, didn't think it was the top of the market. If you guys watch, was very clear about looking for this to be a higher low for a higher high, and we got that, right? Giving us our second major target, sitting right here between $137,000 and $156,000. This is the major target. Now, we also have some local targets we have to pay attention to. I don't know if we're just going to Lambo candle right up into this zone, but if we did, this is the next place where I will be looking to take some profits on my Bitcoin. And if you just entered into the crypto market, you might be saying like, hey, bro, we're about to go into all-time highs. The bull run's about to start. Like, why are you going to take profits so early? And the fact of the matter is, guys, it's not early. Right? We've been in this bull run for quite some time. I've entered in here at about $122,000 is about my average entry, right? So why would I not take profit after this massive move? Why would I not take profit after my second major bull market target? I waited forever for these targets, right? Now, you might not be in the same situation, right? If you bought Bitcoin down here, right, maybe you want to take a little profit here and hope for higher, right? But when it comes to the technicals, this is the next target to look at as a major bull market target. If we get up here, guys, I'm going to take more profit on my Bitcoin. It's that simple, right? If this, then I take profit. If it looks good up here, well, maybe I'll take profit and leave some of my bag in and look for higher. But if I see tops forming here, I am not going to be scared to be looking for that, right, and calling for it. In which case, maybe I take more aggressive profits. Now, it's not all bad, right? Because obviously, if we see the new all-time high on Bitcoin, this could drag retail back into the market. They're going to feel like they missed Bitcoin, right? And then, you're also going to have profit taking up here. This could roll back into the altcoins, which lines up with all the stuff I just mentioned about altcoin season potentially coming at some point soon. It's not me saying alt season starts now or alt season is guaranteed by next week or anything like that. But you just have to think of these scenarios all lining up, right? So, yeah, praying for all-time highs, guys. But this is the next big macro bull market target. Mark it on your chart. I'd say at 137 up to about 155K. Now, locally, we might have some extra turbulence on the way, right? Because when you look at a lower time frame, like maybe we can put another high in here, bing bong around before getting up there. And very simply put, the targets I would be looking at is pulled from the high, the current all-time high, all the way to our current low, which gets pretty close, right? It more starts towards about 131K, right? 131 to 135. So, at the end of the day, this is still the bigger target. But you do have some lower targets there as well. 130,000 might be something to look at as far as a psychological level. So that would be something to look at as well. I'm not going to mark off every single level here, but from a high time frame perspective here, guys, I'm not willing to risk, right? Especially if we get up there. You have to understand, right? If we do get above, right? And if there's signs here, I will call for higher. The next Fibonacci target on the chart here is going to be about 200K. It's not my base case. It's not my base case. I know people don't like to hear that, but I am a realist. I'm here to make money, not just pray for a price that may never come in, similar to 100K here. I'm not going to round trip my bags there, right? I guess technically I'm not going to round trip my bags because I already locked in some profit. But long term, guys, like absolute nail biter, right? We have Ethereum's weekly chart still looking good. The weekly money flow is still crossing into the green. We'll have to see what happens, right? Like the green dot looking to print. This could help us continue another move to the upside into new all-time highs. I'll cover those targets as well. But weekly money flow crossover to the green. We could look for this trend to continue up. Bitcoin dominance looking weak long term. That could help this move up, right? If Bitcoin goes into new all-time highs, everything's right on track. But again, you do just have to be ready for like the fake outs and the crazy effery that the market likes to throw us sometimes. And especially if we come up here, I'm telling you the bias, the sentiment is going to be super mega bullish. But that's what retail does, guys. They come in at the end, they finish off the exit liquidity, and then it's all over, right? But luckily, there is hopefully going to be some kind of massive altcoin pump that follows that. So that's what I'm looking at. Locally, let's just keep an eye here. Take this off the chart. Locally, right, we don't have to worry about any of this until we get there, right? But right now, just keeping an eye on our current volume profile. Right here. Get it on your chart. Value area low, 112.7. POC, 117.722. Value area high, 120K, 119.980. There you go. All right, let me jump into chat. What are you guys thinking? Let's see. Yo, Diddy is in court. Is he really? Really? Shout out to Vegas Claw. They got liquidity. Nos for Gen Z. Yeah, we'll take a look at Nos for Gen Z. No problemo, brother. Shout out to Sebastian. Said Frankie's the Don. Shout out to Sebastian. Welcome in, brother. Happy to have you in here. 119.2 already happened today. It still stands a key level of support, right? It's just the idea of like you're holding that value area low, right? We did wick down here to about 119.283, right? We actually had this level on the chart yesterday. I believe it was pulled from this high, right? We looked at this yesterday on the chart. Local key level of support for an aggressive continuation of the uptrend was sitting right here, right? It was the exact level. Value area high, golden pocket, 786. Golden pocket was sitting at about 119.3, 119.4. And this actually maybe, I might have pulled it from here because I think it was like 119.5. Yeah, so it was this golden pocket, 786 value area high zone, right? It's okay if you get the breakout and you retest that level before holding support and continuing up, right? Also based off money flow, right? This indicates the longer term trend, so you can look for those higher lows and higher highs. But if we do come back down, right, I'm looking at a little bit of a bigger Fibonacci retracement down here. I'm going to have to come on down to a lower time frame to pull it to that low, right? So this is still going to be a key level of support. And if you don't want to look at the local levels, like the Fibonacci retracements and everything, you just look at it as like the value area high. You might kind of dip back in. We have that daily MPOC, right? You might dip back in and then get back out, right? It could be a little bit choppy and confusing. It's never always going to be a perfect flip of support directly on the high. Sometimes you can dip down below, which is why it's important to look at those local retracement levels. But if I could just mark this out as a zone, you could probably just mark it out here on the MPOC, which has not been tapped, and the value area high, still bringing you around about 119.2. Once you lose that, right, you know, you have the little bit lower here. We have the right, a little bit lower than that, you have the golden pocket 786, right? So if we lose that, I would say this is kind of the last level to bounce off of before I look for a bigger drop down. So if we get the drop over the weekend, right, hoping for that in the worst case, right? We do this, I'm looking for that. So there you go. But yes, we did bounce off this level, the exact level we gave yesterday on the live stream. All right, let's see here. Sell your grandma's retirement for BTC now. Shout out to Val. Come on, baby. Hey, Grandma, I have a question. Grandma, can you give me your retirement? She might thank you. Hey, if you're right about that, you'd be the best granddaughter or grandson alive. Shout out to Crypto Max. He said, did you smash the free like button, guys? The like button is free 99 for the next 7 minutes. So if you want to get your free likes in, go ahead and smash it right now. Every penny. ADA holding. Yeah, we'll take a look at ADA. This is where BTC goes crazy. Yeah, I mean, listen, this would be where it is, right? You break above that 886. I mean, hey, all-time highs. You'll have all the notifications on all the apps. You'll have it in the news. Oh, my God, Bitcoin's into new all-time highs. Everybody by the top. Everybody by the top. But, hey, I do joke about that, guys. But I do have to be just very clear, right? It's not like, you know, I know some people are like, I hate this guy, right? Why is he bearish, right? Like, the truth of the matter is I'm not a perma bull or a perma bear, right? I'm a perma, find the key levels and make money, right? When it comes to the long-term bags, it's literally like make or break, right? It's like we're either going to break out here and it's going to get really exciting, or it's going to be some kind of annoying fake out and a massive drop to the downside. I mean, and I know it's like, okay, could go up or could go down. If you don't like that, well, you're probably not going to have fun on Bitcoin because it goes up and down constantly. And if you learn how to do that effectively, you could short the tops, long the bottoms, short the tops, like we do in the premium Discord. So yeah, it's like, another reason why I'm not afraid of looking at the bearish case is because I don't have an emotional connection to Bitcoin going up forever. Number one, I know it's not going to go up forever. Maybe over time, sure. But I know it's just not going to go up in a straight line forever, and it's just unrealistic, right? Number two, I could also capitalize on those moves to the downside, right? So, like, I think a lot of people don't like hearing that it might go down because they're like, well, if it goes down, how am I ever going to make money, right? Well, if you learn how to trade, you learn how to short, you can actually make money on those moves to the downside, which is the second reason why I'm always open to those bearish cases, right? Like here, I would have loved, right? We looked for the all-time high, we got it. I would have loved to stay on top of that 786 and have my spot bags continue to pump to new all-time highs. But as soon as we identified the fake out of this all-time high, we took that short and made a bunch of money on the way down. Why would I not do that if that's a possibility? If you didn't know that was a possibility, stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and learn how to trade with your boy, Frankie Candles, and the Candle Mafia. And apparently the Turtles. All right, let's see. I'll give you a G if you change your name, K. Diddy. Shout out to Vegas Claw. Just dishing out money for people to change their name to Diddy. Shout out to Vegas Claw, bro. BTC hits 150K tomorrow. Shout out to Lord Bra. I hope so. That would be insane, right? Just rip right back up to that $150,000 bull market target. I mean, there is a target there. I don't know if you're going to get up there in a straight line. I hope we do. But that would be wild. That would be an exciting weekend. I'd have to live stream that. You guys will catch me in my weekend attire, which is the same as my weekly attire. Luckily, I have a job where there's no uniform, guys. I'm wearing a Nike t-shirt right now. And actually, fun fact, guys, for anybody who's wondering, I know a lot of you guys wonder this. I am not wearing socks right now. I feel naked. I feel dirty. I don't like it. I don't like it. I got to put socks on. I should ask Mrs. Candles to bring me some socks. Let's see. Shout out to Crimson. Says, I'm here and that means something. Shout out to Crimson. Welcome in, brother. Welcome in. That would be pretty nice. Yeah, 150K would be very, very nice. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the altcoins. Yo, Mark says he's going to double it if he changes his name. Hey, K Diggity, this might be a quick 2K for you, bro. This might be a quick 2K. It might be a win you might not want to miss out on. Sockless, get him! Shout out to Tony D. All right, so let's take a look. I'll take a quick look at Ethereum, which obviously, guys, nothing really too different here than yesterday. Obviously, we were looking for, whoops, I don't know what I just hit there. Getting above this value area low. Right, I can get rid of these blue boxes now. These are actually old blue boxes. Staying above your previous value area low, right? This is the level that you want to hold as support. Next stop would very likely be the POC. Once you hold above that POC, our next target here was kind of fabricated. Fabricated based off these key levels. They are not fake. They're really there. But it's just not a volume profile level, right? So you get above the low, you push into the POC. And I think was it yesterday or maybe the day before? Hold above the POC. We can start to chug our way up into this big key level of resistance. The next day, we ended up at that target. This is an intermediary target. Definitely resistance, and honestly, pretty big resistance at that with all this confluence. But if we can stay above this, we also have a golden pocket up here. If we can stay above this level, guys, the next target is simply going to be the value area high, sitting at about 46.50. Even if we get a rejection here, I mean, based off the 4-hour money flow, right, we could potentially look, even if we get a pullback, right, for higher lows and potentially higher highs into that value area high. Right? So definitely have resistance, but just keep an eye here. 4-hour VWAP, a little bit wonked out here, getting resistance at the 0 line. But as far as money flow goes, guys, higher lows and higher highs can still be in the cards here. Wouldn't be until we start losing this value area low, and more importantly, the 786 Fibonacci retracement, where I would be looking for a much bigger drop down on Ethereum, potentially targeting the value area high here around 35.30. This would be obviously in the more bearish case on Bitcoin, that we don't go into new all-time highs and we get the massive dump, right? That could be Ethereum sitting down here. Hopefully not, right? But it is in the cards, and this is definitely a key level of support you want to keep on your chart. Now, we have two contexts that we're looking at Ethereum in, right? We had the range I just showed you. This range. Bro, am I tripping right now? Did I not just delete this stuff? I think I'm getting trolled. But anyway, we have this other range that we were looking at. Same kind of thought process. Value area low at $4,200. I guess it's the same range, right? Yeah, pretty much the same range. So I won't even cover that. I'll just keep it here, right? Because we have this major key level. Yeah, this is this. Yo, is this synced globally? Is that why? It's literally the same chart. Interesting. So there's the golden pocket I was just mentioning, right? So you are kind of hitting your head there, but, stay above this level, get above the golden pocket. Where's the next place for price to likely go? Well, you can look up towards the 786, and as long as you're above that POC, where's the next target within the profile? The value area high. Are these confluent? Yes. All right, so looking up here, I guess the value area highs are slightly different. This one's 46.51. It's the same range. So just look at this one. Value area high, 46.51. POC sitting all the way down here at about 4,300. Value area low at about 4,200, right? It's not until we break down out of this range where I would be looking for lower prices. Until then, money flow is coming up. You're within your range. Excuse me. We're looking for higher lows and potentially into the value area high. Can we see this fill in full? I sure hope so, guys. I sure hope so. So there you go. Other than that, not really much to update, right? We're just kind of still chilling around in this resistance, chopping. All right, let's see. Shout out to Richie, says triple top is never good. I'm shorting. Maybe you're talking about Ethereum. I assume you're talking about this, right? Yeah, I mean, locally, I wouldn't say that's a horrible idea. Not financial advice, obviously, but I mean, you do have some bearish divergences forming. Higher highs on your price action, lower highs on your momentum waves. Forget about a triple top. Who cares about a triple top, right? But you got momentum coming out as you're trending up, right? So that's an actual discrepancy. So that could give you the pullback. But again, right, the view on that, at least at first, let's just assume if I were to take this short, right, if I were just a short here and look to take this down to the POC, right, I am still going to be very careful of higher lows and higher highs. And there's a few different areas in here where you can look for that. But you could view that as a short-term trade, right? Maybe it's even to a local golden pocket retracement or something like that. But you could view it as a scalp, right, until proven otherwise, right? You could expect the higher lows for higher highs, but it doesn't mean you can't capitalize on that drop to the downside, right? So bearish divergence is forming. See, you got a 4-hour bear div, potential 4-hour bear div looking to print as well. But yeah, again, that doesn't change, right? That won't step on the fact that the money flow is coming up. And I know some people are out there, right? If you do come down, you don't hold the higher low and you come out. This is obviously possible, guys. This indicators are never going to be 100% correct, but you would see this money flow tank out very aggressively. And the way you could kind of front run that is by looking at the lower time frames, such as the 2-hour. I don't know if I talked about this in the premium or I just went over this on Bitcoin, but 2-hour money flow would be coming out. 1-hour money flow would also be coming out, potentially with your 16-hour and 12-hour red dots, right? So these are some front run time frames for the 4-hour. So if you do start getting that pullback, you start seeing that 16-hour red dot, your 1-hour money flows crossing into the red, well, then you can look to potentially hold that short for lower, right? And then assess it as you come down to your next key levels. And it's the same thing on Bitcoin. I think I just went over that on Bitcoin. Same thing, right? Short term, you're at resistance. If you get the pullback, I would be watching for a bigger pullback. What I would be watching on Bitcoin is exactly what I just explained on Ethereum, right? Maybe your 1-hour money flow starts crossing over into the red with a 16-hour red dot, right? A lot of these higher time frames are pretty overbought. You do technically have bearish divergences here as well. They're very, very aggressively, it's not really where I like to see bearish divergences, but at the end of the day, it is a higher high with lower highs on your momentum waves. And either way, right, this is in the overbought territory. Your VWAP is coming down looking for a red dot. It might mean that you could pull back a little bit. But again, that doesn't step on your higher time frame money flow. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, and same thing on Ethereum, right? And same thing, honestly, for everything else as well, right? Because most things are just going to follow Bitcoin. Great stream. Shout out to the world is yours. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Smash that like button if you appreciate the free content, guys. Vegas Claw said, K Diggity, you earned it. Add me in Discord, and I'll send you some awesome trades. Shout out to Vegas Claw. I thought it was $1,000, bro. You can't walk it back now. Wait, did he change his name? There's no way. K Diddy. Oh, God. Oh, God. Give him the $1,000. Come on. You won me. Shout out to Vegas Claw. Bullish on Frankie. Shout out to Chameleon. Welcome in, brother. Welcome in. I would love to wake up to a giant green candle at 129K. Can't argue with that, Don Crypt. Can't argue with that. Frankie, why not take the short here? It's a bearish divergence. No. Shout out to Perry. I mean, you could take that short. Here's the thing, right? You are fading fresh green dots, and this is not to say, right, there will be times where I don't take a trade and price moves, right? This is a big mindset shift that I think a lot of traders need to take. Not you, Perry, specifically, but just in general, right? Like, even if I'm anticipating a drop to the downside, it doesn't always necessarily mean that I'm going to be in a position based off my rules, right? So like there will be times where I'm anticipating a move to the downside, but I just don't take the trade, right? Because if I'm anticipating, or maybe I'm not taking a big trade, right? Because if I'm anticipating higher lows and higher highs, for the most part, I'd rather wait for the pullback and then get long on the right side of money flow, right? To anticipate the bigger move up. Does not mean you can't trade this move to the downside. I'm just personally not holding it. And part of the reason of that is I just don't have perfect confluence, right? Like money flow is coming up on a lot of different time frames. And yes, I would anticipate a pullback from resistance potentially with the red dots, bearish divergences, everything I just went over. But you do have a fresh 8-hour green dot here, right? You do have your 10-hour green dot that just confirmed. So it's just like, it's not super, super clear. I like to see a lot of confluence throughout all the time frames, like going from the high time frames down. You kind of want everything to be like bleeding up into the same direction. That's not to say you can't pull back here. That's not to say there's not a good short position to be had up here. But at the end of the day, you're just not going to catch every single move. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. And, you know, at the end, you know, even here, right? Like, this is why you don't ever really want to FOMO in, right? Because like a little while ago, it's like you have this structure here, price starts breaking down, you're like, oh my God, are we going to get the big move? And then you just get another push up, right? So like you don't have a lot of structure here, right? Like we kind of just got the big push up, we're kind of consolidating, but again, it's like even these bearish divergences are very steep, which doesn't make them not bearish divergences, but it's just I don't know. I guess you can call it market discretion. Like this is not really like, these are not like the most beautiful, beautiful bearish divergences. They're for sure there. They're for sure there. But at the end of the day, right, you reserve the right to take the trades you want to, right? So it's okay. If it comes down, am I going to freak out? Oh, my God, no, I could have made money. No, not at all, right? I'll just catch the next trade. It's totally fine. But, yeah, that's just kind of a thought process there. You know, maybe this 8-hour red dot just rolls back over. But, you know, if you were looking to short on the drop to the downside, right, it's like, you're already pushing up. Let me pull up a lower time frame here real quick. Pull this fib real quick. Let me pull up the liquidation heat maps real quick. Let me do some analysis here, guys. Let's check out the liquidation heat map. Take a sip of that black coffee. All right, I would probably have to go down to a much lower time frame. I don't really use these heat maps on super low time frames, but I am just curious. So what I am looking for, just to walk you guys through it, is liquidity sitting above this lower high. Maybe we'll go down to the 24-hour, get really nitty-gritty. Let's see. So, yeah. Do have a little bit of local liquidity sitting up there. Listen, a 24-hour heat map is not something I would really be looking at like super significantly, but the idea here is like drop down, lower high, people are looking to short this, right? Another drop down, lower high, people are looking to short this. What does that mean, or what could that mean potentially? Well, you could have stop losses up here, right? So I don't know if this is going to be the case, right? But you're going to have all these stop losses sitting up here. Could potentially look for an SFP into that 786, right? Little freebie here. Again, not telling you to take this trade or anything like that, right? But not financial advice. Don't take these trades. You'll lose all your money. I don't even trade, guys. It's all demo money, as you guys know. But, yeah, if you come up here, you know, somewhat relative equal highs there. I mean, maybe you can SFP into the 786. Like, for me, right, like, I don't know. Like, down here, there's no reason to short, right? Like, I'm not going to short as price comes down. Maybe you can even look at, like, a hyper-local. You know, everyone's plan is going to be different. Like, maybe you're looking at this Golden Pocket 786. But, yeah, I mean, for me personally, right, I would rather short as price comes down or comes up, right? Maybe we get an SFP into that golden pocket. I'm not saying that has to play out. Again, like this is not like a legit trade setup I'm talking about. This is just an idea of what could potentially play out. We see the liquidity above the highs. Theoretically, it could make sense that people are shorting on the lower high, putting liquidity above, right? And, yeah, so if we come back up there, it could get that sweep. And then the SFP would be a great entry trigger for me to at least take a stab at the short, right? Because if I get the SFP, right, there's a legitimate confirmation there, right? Wick above, candle closure below. I can then take my trade with a beautiful entry and a tight stop loss, right? Regardless of if I get in on the wick or I get in on the actual SFP level, stop loss above the wick with the potential target of this value area high. Look at that risk to reward, 8 risk to reward. Tiny loss for a potentially much bigger gain. Now, the flip side of that is I might not get that setup and price might come down without me, right? But I'm totally fine with that. I don't chase trades, right? And neither should you if you're out there chasing trades. Please don't do that. Even though chasing trades is kind of a fire name, right? Like if your YouTube name was Chasing Trades, that's kind of fire. Yeah, shout out to Keith, said pretty much a wait and see with nothing really on the charts. I think we see a pump in alts this weekend. And also just to kind of further talk about that, right? Like this short position here, right, which I mentioned I had gotten the stopped out of, right? I mean, what do we have here, right? You had the bearish divergences, right? You had higher highs, lower highs, right, into a massively key level of resistance being that 786. And sure, you get the drop down, right? But it's not something I would chase here, right? I would have to get it up here to at least get into profit, move my stop loss for a risk-free trade, right? And what happens? You anticipate higher lows and higher highs based off the 4-hour money flow. And what happens? You do get the pullback, right, which could happen here. But if you're anticipating higher lows and higher highs, you're not missing out on much, right? So there you go. And who knows? Maybe we just nuke from here and I don't get a setup. That's totally fine, right? I've missed trades before. I'll miss them again. It's totally fine. But there we go. Hopefully that helps you out. PSP gaming. Some of the best gaming you'll possibly do is on a PSP, guys. God, man, that PSPs were ahead of their time, guys. Let me know in the chat who's gamed on a PSP. They had wireless matchmaking. You could play with your friend wirelessly online. It was the coolest thing ever. Used to play Twisted Metal with my friend. Man, that was so sick. Anyway, Saucy Stream. Shout out to Dr. Crypto. Dr. Crypto, don't sugarcoat us, bro. Don't sugarcoat it. Tell us what's going on. What's the diagnosis, bro? All-time highs, all-time lows? What's going on, bro? Lucia says, Frankie, weekends barely do anything usually. So closing above 120.8K have high possibility somehow. Shout out to Lucia. I mean, listen, traditionally, weekends have low volume, but it's not like we've never seen pumps or massive dumps on the weekend. So it's not like a locked-in 100% certain fact. But, yeah, typically you will see lower volume on the weekends. I mean, you could just kind of, like, hunt out weekends here. Let's go to a lower time frame. Yeah, this was a weekend, right? So, like, oftentimes you will see weekends just kind of do this, right? Just kind of like low volume, nothing really happens, and then Sunday, and I guess Sunday we did get the pump to the upside, right? So it's like low volume on weekends, sure. Traditional markets are closed, but I don't know. I wouldn't just look at it as like a super like big thing, right? Where it's like nothing will ever happen on the weekends because there's low volume. That's obviously not true 100% of the time. So that's kind of how I look at it. Yeah, PSP Gaming said, right? I know. PSPs were fire. Yeah, sometimes you'll see a random pump on Saturdays. Yeah. I mean, you can always make the generalization, right? Like, weekends oftentimes look like that, but, sometimes they do that too, right? Even if the probability is higher of sideways. Not that, just I wouldn't incorporate it into my strat. I don't trade on the weekends just because it's typically lower volume. You will sit in your trades for longer more often than not on a weekend where it just goes sideways. But that's not to say that you're just not going to get the massive pumps or dumps. All right, let's take a look. We took a look at Ethereum. Let's take a quick look at, we could try to do CRV. Shout out to Had. Shout out to Joseph, says, Frankie, I'm newer to the channel and considering joining the premium membership. How much is it? If you go to frankiecandlestrading.com, there's a few different subscriptions that you can do. I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but just go to frankiecandlestrading.com. You'll see, just scroll down, you'll see all the options. And anyone looking to join the premium Discord, it is not a signals group. It is very valuable. Shout out to anybody in the premium in here. They'll probably tell you that. I give my spoon-fed trade setups, right? So, for example, I'm not going to tell you exactly buy here, sell here, right? But just to give you a little bit of an idea of what I do in the Discord. I don't want to leak anything super secret here. It wouldn't be fair for the people who pay. But yeah, it's not going to be like everybody buy right now, sell here, right? Because signals don't work. If it was that easy, right? I think you guys know what I'm going to say, right? I would just set up a bot to take trades based off a signals group, right? The best signals group ever. Everybody would be in that group. No one would have a job. Everyone would be a billionaire. So you have to kind of think about that. But it's not a signals group, but I do give my spoon-fed trade setups, right? So it's like, for example, for this, right? I don't know exactly where this trade is. 115.6. We actually didn't even wind up attempting to take this trade because we didn't get the confirmations. But the idea is hey guys, if we hold above this $112,600 level, right, which was the value area high of the previous range and the value area low of the current range, 4-hour money flow is coming up. We could continue up. I would expect something like this. The next big level of resistance to look at is here. And then I talk about the confirmations that I want to see as you tap into that level to take the short position. So I spoon feed my personal trade setups. I probably take like 99% of them. Sometimes they just set up when I'm not on the chart. But that's pretty much what we do, right? So you're sitting there and prepared, waiting for that level, right? That way I'm not like in the Discord being like, I just entered a short position that's already in profit, and that's your sell signal, right? Then everyone enters late, they get wrecked, I make money. Who has fun doing that? I'd rather have you waiting and anticipating the exact trade that I'm waiting for. This way, I could be out to dinner, get an alert on my phone, and take the trade on my phone, and the Mafia is already ready for that trade as well. And then I talk about the exact confirmations. It's very educational. I have a sauce section here where I drop a lot of like gems on risk management, my overall trading strategy. Like even here's the long position from $108,000, which was obviously down here. Now, I personally, and you can see here, I actually still have a level set here as well, which was lower volume profile number 1, right? We have the blue box here letting us know this is where we're going to be looking for the longs. And then I walk you guys through like kind of what I would want to see here. But here's the thing, right? This is the level I was looking to long. But guess what? I didn't take that trade, right? We did not get, and actually let me pull this up as well, right? Down here, this was the trade that I was looking to enter at 112,600, which was obviously right here. I was waiting for another low to come in here, and I didn't get the low that I wanted, right? We just put in a higher low and continued up. I did not take this trade. It was a setup. We did tap into the key level. I didn't see my personal confirmations, but it doesn't mean that you can't look for different confirmations than me. But that's how I do it. I spoon-feed my trade setups. More often than not, we don't win every single trade, but more often than not, I mean, that was literally the bottom before the massive pump, right? And then, like in this case, we didn't even take that trade, right? Could try to find another one. Here's another mention of the 112.6K. Try to find another. And like, look, we were waiting for that drop down to $108,000 when we were all the way up here, right? It took us a while to get down there, but you're already waiting and aware of these setups that we're looking for, right? And I teach you how to actually trade, right? Like my goal is to grow people into self-sustainable traders that can do their own analysis, find their own trade setups, and also use mine as well. But that is pretty much what we do, right? So that's the Discord for anybody who's interested. That's what we do. It's not a signals group. If you're looking for someone to tell you exactly when to buy or sell, not only would you be disappointed, but you're also searching for something that doesn't exist. This is the highest value I could possibly think that you can get from some kind of a trading Discord. We go live twice a week in the beginning and the end of the week. We go over everything in detail. We recap the trades, all that good stuff. And we cover some of the more advanced stuff such as order flow, etc. So there you go. Anyway, that's enough of that. Spoon-fed slingshot. Shout out to CoinSpirator. All right, let's continue on. All right, so we took a look at Ethereum. Let's take a look at Solana real quick over on the alt template. This is not the alt template. That's why I was having trouble before. This is the alt template. All right, so, listen, guys. Solana is just still playing around in our resistance here. It's a golden pocket, 786. Fibonacci retracement. 786 to the golden pocket. Simply put, we bounce off the value area low. Where's India Martini? India Martini took the long off the value area low. He's probably very happy right now, and he took profits here, too, so I'm super proud of him. Locking in profits, making it a guaranteed winning trade, still keeping the opportunity open to move up towards this value area high. The overall thought process here is we're inside our volume profile. Yes, we're hitting the golden pocket 786. This is an area where you can get a rejection. But when we look at our money flow here on the 5-hour and the 4-hour, what do we see? 4-hour money flow is crossing into the green, just like Bitcoin. 5-hour money flow also looking to cross into the green, could indicate the continuation of the trend. Not necessarily a Lambo candle up, but any pullbacks will be looked at as lackluster for higher lows and higher highs, eventually targeting the value area high of that range at 248.66. So we'll see. Right, we're just kind of bing-bonging around in this target that we hit, I guess, a couple days ago, yesterday. Hold this. We looked up here. Now we're sitting up here. Well, hey, see if we can play around in here, get the pullback, and the continuation up. If we Lambo candle up there, well, even more beautiful. Overall, these are intermediary targets, I call them, right? Within the profile, the main profile targets are going to be, well, I guess I could just delete this for now. All right, just looking at your simple volume profile, value area low, get above the POC. As long as you're above this, the doorway to the value area high is open, right? But these Fibonacci levels, these local intermediary levels can help you understand, is this the best place to enter the long? I wouldn't personally say so. Could you Lambo candle up there? Sure, but I wouldn't say it's the best trade. Why? Well, if you enter here, it's like you've already got a little bit of a pump to the upside, right? You want to enter those long positions on pushes to the downside, right? I guess you could put your stop loss below there, but I don't know. I would just rather wait for a pullback, right? I would rather enter that on, potentially some Fibonacci retracements for the higher low and the higher high. And look at that. Golden pocket, 786, sits right on that POC. All right, so I would personally, and again, I'm okay missing a trade, right? I understand that you can't catch every trade, and if you try to catch every trade, you're going to lose all your money. I would rather enter my long position down here. If it doesn't come, well, hey, I let it cook, and maybe I look for a short up here, right? But yeah, that would just be the better, POC 786, golden pocket sitting between 216.96 and 211.13. I'd say this is probably the most important level right now to hold above because it's the point of control. Also gives you an opportunity to keep your higher low situation to continue the trend to the upside. Let's check that anchored VWAP from the low. Look at that, coming right in through there on that golden pocket 786 POC. So this is definitely going to be a key level between 216.96 and 211.13. Either way, next target to the upside is going to be that value area high, 786. So there you go. That's what I would look for. Take a look at the daily. Daily VWAP rolling over. 12-hour red dot. Look at the print. So similar to Bitcoin, we're at resistance. We have high time frame red dots, medium time frame. No bearish divergences on the 4-hour. Could get a bear div on the 3-hour and the 2-hour, right? So look for the bearish divergences there for a potential pullback short term. But overall, these are the key levels I would look at. Come on. We already got the full fill from the low to the high, from the high to the low. Can we do it again? Can we do it again? Come on, volume profiles. Play out. Play out. All right, so there we go. There is Solana. We can take a look at Cardano. I see a bunch of people asking for Cardano. Point of Creighton Control. Shout out to Valley Forge. POC stands for Point of Creighton. Let's see. Yeah, CRV. We'll try to take a look at CRV. Shout out to Had. Frankie always tells it like it is. Shout out to Pumpcast. And you ain't never going to get anything different here. I don't know. I don't know. I guess the benefit is if you just want to play like the social media game, you just tell people what they want to hear. And hopefully, my bias isn't, I'm never going to, like, people always say to me, like, Frankie, are you bearish or bullish right now? Well, think about how loaded of a question that is. Am I bearish or bullish? I mean, on a 90-minute time frame is going to be different than on a daily time frame. On a daily time frame is going to be different than a weekly time frame, right? On a weekly time frame might even be different than a macro cycle perspective, right? Like I might see weekly bearish divergences and expect some kind of a significant drop to the downside, but that doesn't mean that I'm bearish on Bitcoin to go to zero. It's very important to realize that, right? And we have a lot of new people that come in here sometimes, and they'll be like, wait, you just said you were bullish, but now you're bearish, right? Well, it's very contextual. I'm a trader, right? I would say like overall, right, I'm always bullish on crypto, even in bear markets, right? I'm always going to be bullish on crypto. That doesn't mean, right, like, am I still bullish on Bitcoin as an asset down here? Sure, right? But like, I'm not going to tell people that I'm, if I say I'm bearish for this drop to the downside, does that mean that I think Bitcoin, you should never buy Bitcoin? No, right? It's all contextual. So just to kind of clear that up, it's like, I would say long-term, am I bullish or bearish? It's honestly, this is a point where it's like really hard for me to say from a cycle perspective because it's like, I'm bullish and bearish right now. Like I am kind of on the fence here. It's like we are either going to pop to the upside. There are evidence pieces to support that. But there's also a lot of evidence to support that like we could be forming a top up here as well, whether we pop into the new all-time high or we just get a lower high here. But does that mean that I don't think Bitcoin's ever going to go to 200K? No. But, who knows, right? Maybe we go to 130 and then back down for a massive bear market and then we go to 200K. So it's always going to be like if this, then that statement, right? So like my overall bias here on a low time frame. And when it comes to the charts, it's nice because you have these clean levels that you can look at. Hey, if we stay above this zone or this zone, right, we can still put in the higher low and higher high. I'm still medium-term bullish, right? But if we lose that, then I'm looking for a much bigger dump to the downside. It changes, right? I'm not going to keep having that same bullish bias if we start losing this level, right? Because I know that that's a key level. I know it's the POC of the range. I know it's a 786 Fibonacci retracement. I know if I lose this, I'm probably going to get a drop down to the next big key level of support near 114K. So it's always an if this, then that, right? Like if I were just come up here like, I'm bullish, right? It's like, that's such a, I don't know. It's kind of like a senseless comment. Like, am I bullish on Bitcoin? Yeah, I think Bitcoin will be $1 million one day. How long? What's the time frame? How is it going to look? What's the structure like? Where can I enter? Should I buy now? If I think I'm bullish for Bitcoin to go to $1 million, should you buy right now? Probably not, right? Even if you go up to 200K, right? You're probably going to go into another bear market before you hit $1 million. Hopefully not, right? Hopefully we just rip up to $1 million. That'd be fire. That'd be fire. We shall gain 1K likes today. Otherwise, no giveaways. Shout out to Jesse. He said it, not me. Please say yes. Shout out to Jesse. But yeah, that's what I'll be looking at on Solana. Let's take a quick look over at Cardano, or Cardanzo, as your boy James Kramer might call it. I mean, no update here, right? If you've been watching the channel, right, we're just still chilling exactly where we were. So there's no update here. And again, probably just going to follow the same path as Bitcoin and Ethereum. But biggest levels to break above, still 89 cents, 90 cents, right? Get above the value area low. This opens up the door to get the bigger pop up towards the point of control, right? You're just bing-bonging around these two areas of value. Value area number 1, value area number 2. We could pull back if we do, right? I'm not worried until we start losing these lows, right? We start losing these lows, we're losing the value area high. That would be very bearish for Cardano. Losing 50 cents would be very bearish for Cardano. We are very far away from that level right now. We are just chopping around, right? So the question is, or not the question, but like I would not be worried, right, until we wind up losing this low, right? These lows here, or this value area high. Until then, right, maybe we just chop around, right? And then we get back above that value area low. Like, this is the level to break above. This is your doorway to higher prices. Obviously, we could peek in there, get back out, peek in there, get back out, where it's been a real struggle lately. But that it just still remains the biggest key level to get above. And if I wanted to get a little bit more nitty-gritty, pull our fib here from the lower high to the low. Yeah, golden pocket 786. If you kind of want to avoid the idea of potentially getting another fake out in here and then back out, I would say the technical level to break above is the 786 at $1.04. Sure, reclaiming the value area low is nice, right? But you still got to get above that 786 to potentially come up and tap that POC and potentially beyond. Flip that POC to support. Once you're up there, very similar to Solana, right? Once you're up here, regardless of the path it takes, right? Once you're up here, it's like get pullbacks. The POC becomes your key level of support, especially if money flow is coming up. You can look for that trend back to the upside. So this level, this Fibonacci retracement / value area low zone sits between about 90 and $1.04. $1.04 is the technical 786 you got to break above. Why do I say that? Well, because at the end of the day, if you do get a rejection from here, right, it's definitely resistance. You could pop back in here, lose it again, and then maybe you get the bigger dump to the downside. Now, levels before you get to the value area high that I would watch, if we do get a bigger pullback, to not panic, you know, you have a golden pocket, you have a 786 here at about 61 cents. So, like, you know, scary scenario while still remaining bullish could be a pullback into this golden pocket 786 before a move back to the upside. But still, right, it's not until I lose this value area high where I get much more bearish. If we pull back down here, it's like, well, hey, we have this key support down here. So we can look at this. We can mark this off as support. I'll leave them on the chart. We'll see what happens. So yeah, these would be the big levels to look at. But until we come and interact with any of these levels, right, like this is like a no trade zone for me. It's either, you know, potential shorts here or potential longs here, right? And potentially even a long if I see a reason to flip that value area low to support. But for the most part, that's resistance, right? So I would just be waiting for these two key levels. Until then, it's like, oh my God, now what on Cardano? It's like nothing, right? Like you're just bing-bonging around. There's like not much to do in here for me, unless you're trading like the super lower time frames, which I don't do on Cardano often. Shout out to Conspirator says, thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you so much. He says, when everything tends to follow BTC, when do we know they decouple and alt season starts when BTC tops and dumps? There's a few different ways that it could play out. So, I mean, the big thing to look at, in my opinion, is Bitcoin dominance, right? But there's a few different things, right? I think the traditional story is Bitcoin puts in a new top. Come on. Bitcoin puts in a new top. Right, and then people start taking profits, and then Bitcoin sometimes will get the correction. Those profits roll over into altcoins. We've seen a bunch of different things play out, but what I would look for is, you know, it really depends on if Bitcoin goes into new all-time highs or not. If Bitcoin goes into new all-time highs, and we've seen so many different things play out, right? Like in other cycles, we've seen alts run with Bitcoin, right? In this case, right, it's been a little bit different, right? We've just seen like Bitcoin be on its like own lonesome bull market here. Even Ethereum, right? Like Ethereum got like a rip into like structure-wise, like up here, but then like Ethereum just took a tank. It didn't really run with Bitcoin. So like now we're in a situation where like Bitcoin and honestly the rest of the markets, right? Like the SPY, like everything is sitting up here. And then like all the altcoins kind of got their run and like they're still kind of chilling down here. So the question is like, are we going to see them push up and meet Bitcoin up here? So we've seen it happen. Like, this cycle's a little bit different, right? Because like the altcoins haven't really been trending up with Bitcoin at all, right? But I like to look at, to me, the end of the cycle makes sense for an alt season, right? Because like I do kind of subscribe to the idea that people take profits on Bitcoin. Then, it's the waterfall of crypto, right? You can look it up. I think it's, if you Google like, it's like Bitcoin money flow chart or Bitcoin waterfall chart or something. Obviously people go into Bitcoin, they take profit on Bitcoin. It goes into the high caps, Ethereum, Solana, right? Whatever, the top altcoins, high cap altcoins. Then those pump next, right? And then people start taking profits there. That rolls into the mid caps. The mid caps take profit, rolls into the low caps. And then like towards the end of the cycle is where you have that crazy euphoria. Everyone's getting rich on meme coins, right? Or so to say. How many of those are screenshots versus actual profits? I would argue about 1%. But, that's kind of how you would see it happen. So it's like, I don't know. You can only look at like possible scenarios of what's happened in the past. Who knows? Maybe we see something totally different this cycle. It's kind of a hard call to make. But I have not sold any of my alts yet. I still hold big alt bags. I have not given up. But I will say this, like big rejections from this level, guys, starts, if we wind up, not putting an all-time high and we get a massive dump, starts to get worrisome. The beautiful thing is we are tapping on the door, guys. Let's see. Sinking Toaster says it's so hard to hear Frankie on laptops. Shout out to Sinking Toaster. Screenshot, then dump. Shout out to Tyler Durden. Give Tyler Durden a raise. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Have a great weekend, Mafia. Shout out to Book of Crypto. Enjoy your weekend. Go touch some grass. I won't. I'll be here sitting at the charts. I'm just kidding, guys. I do actually have a life. What about ETH? Shout out to King. We actually already took a look at ETH. If you scrub back, I gave all the sauce on Ethereum. We took a look at Cardano. We took a look at Solana. Let's take a quick look at XRP, everybody's favorite. All right, man. XRP. I'm just actually kind of look at this from a clean chart perspective. Let's take a look here. All right, so obviously, if we just look at this locally, as you guys know, yesterday and the day before, right? I think it was Tuesday or Monday, I guess. Tuesday we were getting the rejection here, right? Monday we came up, we got the rejection. We were sitting down here on Tuesday, right? The goal here was to get back above your value area low, which you indeed did do. Opening up the door, right, to potentially come up and tap your POC. Yesterday, we were getting a rejection off this anchored VWAP. But what happens, right? We're just kind of coiling up here. So I would still say from a simple perspective, this anchored VWAP is obviously major resistance, but we did not make a new high. So this key level of support we looked at yesterday still remains the same. This sits between 292 and 287. We get the drop down here, right? You're hoping to hold on top of that value area low. If you can do that, even with a wick to the 786, quick wick and reclaim, doorway to the POC remains open, right? Still got to get above this anchored VWAP wherever that winds up falling on your way down, right? It's going to move. But at the end of the day, within the volume profile, stay above the high or stay above the value area low. Doorway to the POC is still open. We're kind of just chopping around on this anchored VWAP right now. If we lose this 786, and I would argue this 786 here at about 278, that's where I'm looking for a much bigger drop down. Lose 278, we could be on our way to 250 to 260, that infamous level that we've been talking about forever. Hopefully we don't have to see it, but what I will say is if you don't hold that 786, this is the lowest I would like XRP to go. And even then, right, like if we do come down to that 786, sure, you could still continue your uptrend, but at that point, it's like you've already tried to get accepted back into your profile, you got rejected, and then you're going to be bouncing right into resistance. So if money flow does not look good on this bounce from the 786, you could anticipate lower highs and lower lows to break structure to the downside here, targeting the 250 to 260 zone. So that's what I would look at. Until then, right, everything else, this all remains valid, right? So same chart as yesterday, same key levels as yesterday. Next target to the upside is the POC at 313. Yeah, we did come up here and hit 210. Let me just pull this fib real quick. I missed that low. Or I missed that high, rather. And I missed the low. Dang. There we go. So, yeah, this is also Golden Pocket 786 as well, right? So what do we want to see? We take a look at the 4 hour. I mean, money flow still looks good here. to be honest. So I would still be open to higher lows and higher highs. But once you lose that 786 down here at 278, that's where I would expect the bigger move down. But right now, you're just comfortably within your profile. Maybe this weekend, it's like, oh my God, what are we doing? Then we just back up here and we just chop around, right? It's not until, right, in these cases, right, I'm not looking for a trade on XRP here. It's either look for a long down here again, if money flow calls for it, or, I mean, if anything, I would be looking for a short up here. But I'm not as interested with money flow coming up. So it's like an if this, then that. I would wait until price comes up and taps this level or comes down and taps this level. So there you go. That's what I would look at on XRP. Shout out to Lionheart, said, great premium live. Shout out to Lionheart. Thank you, bro. Were you in there? I don't remember seeing you in there. Yo, shout out to Nick Dunn. Longer the base, the higher in space. I hope so. Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say. Yeah, I'm just trying to, like, I just hope that we are in, what is this? This is the foot, right? So, like, I'm just hoping, right, that we are more in a situation like this, right? I'm hoping we're more in a situation like this rather than a situation like this. And again, not that I would trade off fractals or anything like that, but yeah, I try to find something here. But I mean, I'm always going to go back to the volume profiles, as always, right? This is like the most trusty way to look at the charts, in my opinion. All right, we're still holding above our key level of support here, right? But again, you start losing that 278 level. I don't know, man. I don't know. That 250 to 260 level starts looking pretty enticing. But just like Bitcoin, right? Like, here's your breakout, range retest, range retest, range retest. The only thing I don't love about this is if you're looking at this as your key level of resistance, or support, rather. I mean, just from a super basic level here. You know, a little bit of a descending triangle there. Again, not something I would take to the bank, but just trying to, like, figure the structure out there. Yo, shout out to Alpha Cry. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you so much. Said, bro, check Floki breaking out hard. They had their ETP launch in Europe. Shout out to Alpha Cry. We will take a look at Floki. Let's do it. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate 184.99 AED. I appreciate you so much, bro. All right, getting a bit of a pop up there. Getting a bit of a pop up. Do we have a Floki chart? I believe we do have a Floki chart. Well, man, something drawn here. Not a full chart, though. Maybe we don't. I don't remember the last time we looked at Floki, to be quite honest. Yeah, maybe we'll just make a new chart here. I'm not going to mark it out in total just because I'm going to save time. Yeah, I guess we'll have to start from scratch here. Look at the Binance chart. Oh, what? Bro, TradingView has been really frustrating. It's been super laggy. I like, it takes a minute for the TA to load here. All right, well, hey, here's something I'll say on Floki, guys. Golden Pocket tapped, right? That was your first opportunity to put in a higher low, right? You got a little bounce, but you broke down to the 786, so I'm going to take that off the chart. You also had 2 daily MPOCs here. Did we look at this yesterday? Well, here's your last level. 786 daily naked point of control. This is super key. Super key. Why? Low, high. That's your full Fibonacci retracement of this entire move up. If you want this thing to not break down below these lows, in my opinion, like losing that 786 could have been real bad, right? Because if you break down below that 786, low, high, higher low is now invalidated, and you would look for another push down for a potential break of structure to the downside here. So you are holding on top of that 786 perfectly. We must have pulled this forever ago, back in July, because I don't think we've looked at this in quite some time. But yeah, you are also coming up to, I wouldn't pay as much attention to that anchored VWAP as I would from the one to the high, which is also coming into a very similar area. So yeah, one thing I will say, holding the 786 daily naked point of control, very nice. Getting the bounce, I guess, off of some news as well. So your anchored VWAP here sits at about 97.73 from the low. And then your other anchored VWAP from the top sits here at about 106.40. next big level. And obviously your value area low is sitting up here as well in confluence with this daily MPOC is tapped. This daily MPOC is naked, right? So from a long-term perspective, right, when we just look at this, balanced area of price, deviation below, right? What you really want here, you have a little bit of work to do, but you really got to get back above this value area low sitting at about 11,499. That gives you the doorway to the POC and the doorway to the value area high. Until then, very nice to see the bounce off the 786 here, especially if you didn't want to break it this low. This allows you to potentially continue your high low, higher low high, higher low, higher high for the break of structure. Low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, hoping for another higher high to eventually target this POC for another break of structure to the upside. This actually doesn't look super, super bad if you can reclaim these anchored VWAPs. These anchored VWAPs are going to be absolutely key to get above. And then once you get above that, you just got to get back above this anchored VWAP, get above this value area low and start to trek up towards that POC. Just for shizzies and giggies here, guys, I'm just going to pull these. Let's pull it all the way from the low. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so that's what I would look at on Floki. Let's take a look at some of our higher time frames. Two-day bull div? No bull div. I mean, it may be an exaggerated bull div. It's not super clean. 3-day, no bull div. Daily? Yeah, you got the daily bull div, which is nice as well. Right, which is funny because I don't know when that news happened. Yeah, I mean, it's exaggerated. It's kind of just equal lows, not the strongest. Money flow trying to come up on the daily. Let's check the 4-hour. 4-hour money flow in the green, just like every other alt chart, just like every Bitcoin chart, right? Money flow crossover into the green. So this could say, right, this money flow continues up. Even if you reject the anchored VWAP, higher lows and higher highs could be in the cards. But these will be the next big targets, and I'll actually just drop a... right, here's anchored VWAP number 1. Here's anchored VWAP number 2. You guys can screenshot those to get the exact levels. And then your value area low sits right here at about 11,544. Those are the biggest levels to look at to the upside. And I assume you probably have confluence on one of these anchored VWAPs with your Fibonacci retracement. And there's your golden pocket. So intermediary resistance levels, just watch right here. Anchored VWAP golden pocket. And then you have the 786 kind of all by its lonesome there, or you can put that in confluence with this anchored VWAP. But yeah, these would be, so you got these, screenshot these. And then you also got this 786 sitting right up here at about 103.74. So I would say with money flow, I wouldn't be as inclined to look for massive lower highs and massive lower lows because, again, money flow indicates the overall trend. Not every retracement level. You know, if money flow was in a big green wave here looking across into the red, I would 100% be looking for shorts up here for a massive dump and a continuation of the downtrend. That is not what we have. We have money flow attempting to come into the green. So I would say pullbacks, sure. Resistance, sure. But I would still be looking for higher lows and higher highs. Let's see. Shout out to Punjabi Songs. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, bro, what do you think Ondo go? Where do you think Ondo goes in Q4? I mean, I don't know. We could take a look at the chart for Ondo, but that's Floki. That's what I'll be looking at Floki. Shout out to anybody holding Floki. Nice little pop to the upside here. Beautiful 10% 4-hour candle. Very nice to see money flow head in the right direction. Shout out to Dean. Said ETH isn't at all-time highs. How is it alt season now? Shout out to Dean. I wouldn't say it's alt season. Okay. Let's take a look at, what should we look at next? Like the stream. Shout out to World is Yours. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Matu. Says, Ada. We already looked at Ada. If you scrub back just a little bit. Shout out to Hat. I see you, brother. We'll look at CRV. Don't worry, my man. Don't worry. Alt season is coming. Yeah. Shout out to Sharif. Shout out to Sharif. Yes, I would not say this is alt season, right? I mean, look at dominance, right? Like, sure, dominance got the drop down. Like, I wouldn't even say this is alt season, right? But this is kind of what we looked at to start the alt season, right? It's like, or not start the alt season. I guess it's like kind of hard wording, right? It's like, this is what gives you the best chance to potentially see alt season come in, right? But if we push up here for a lower high and a lower low, which is definitely valid, this would be probably not great for altcoins, but in turn, right, longer time frame, if that trend continues down, it's like we're in the environment. We're in the environment where we can eventually see alt season come in. I would say alt season loading. It's the same thing as, I think in July, I dropped an alt season loading video. And we looked at a lot of the things that could potentially trigger alt season, but it doesn't happen that day or that week, right? It's more like we're in an environment where we can facilitate an alt season, right? But I would not say we're in alt season right now. Yeah, alt season will be very clear, guys. Alt season will be very clear. If we get a true crazy alt season, it's going to be waking up every day and your portfolio is just, it seems unbelievable. I'll never forget the first real alt season I experienced. I was just like, it felt illegal. I was like, oh my God, like how did this, and especially back then it was like people thought crypto was a scam and I'm like, am I doing something wrong? How am I making all this money so fast? So it'll be very, very apparent, right? But it is still nice to see that this is dropping out of the volume profile. It's nice to see that 3-day money flow crossover into the red. It is very, I don't think this is a word, but like facilitative. Facilitative. Is that a word? Probably not. But it's, it could be, right, like when you're trying to look ahead, right, if this trend is going to continue down, right, you could be on alt season watch. But I definitely wouldn't say this is alt season. Even this, right? Like this was not alt season. I actually looked in the premium Discord. We had a lot as we were coming into this major level of resistance, we were seeing a lot of bullish signs on altcoins. And as we were looking for this drop down, we had a lot of calls in the Discord on a lot of altcoins with targets much higher than where they were. And almost all of those targets got hit. But I wouldn't even really consider that being alt season, right? It was just kind of a dump on dominance, which helped alts push to the upside. I wouldn't even consider that. Maybe like a little mini alt season. But here we haven't even really seen those reactions at all just yet. Shout out to Typhoon, said, hey, Frankie, how you doing? Shout out to Typhoon. Welcome in, bro. I'm doing well. How are you? How are you, bro? That's the real question. When Frankie token, shout out to Crypto Zero. That is, we actually talked about that in the premium today. I will probably never do a token, guys. As fun as it would be, I just don't see a way that I get out of that without people thinking I'm a scammer. And I just don't really want to do that. People are, there was someone on Twitter that did like a whole like thread on how I made a video about Sui. By the way, not shilling Sui, just talking about the project. I didn't even say I was bullish or bearish on it. Right? I was bullish on it, but I wasn't telling people to buy, right? I even like super disclaimers and all that. And someone put a whole thread on Twitter. I don't know who it was. And it was like this long murder, like board with like lines, and it was like Frankie Candles made this video on Sui at this day, and did you know that Frankie Candles is the creator of Sui, and he's just trying to pump his coin. I'm just like, bro, you think I created Sui? That's crazy. So I guess you can't avoid that either way, but it's just I don't see a way for that to end well. I've genuinely thought about the only way to do it is to like create a token, make my wallet public, and just sacrifice a bunch of money to pump it for you guys, and then just make my wallet public and be like, I'm just sacrificing this money, guys. Like, there's my wallet. Like, but even then, it's like someone will be like, he had a secret wallet. He dumped. Like, you guys really think? Like, it's just not worth it for me, man. Bro, that dude was crazy. Yeah, shout out to Tony Days. Really funny. Like, me and Tony were reading that. I'm like, dude, yo, people think I made Sui. That's crazy. Nice hat, man. Shout out to Gatsby. Appreciate that, bro. This is a Frankie Candles trading hat. Proven to increase your profitability by at least 175%. Available on frankiecandlestrading.com. And if we hit 650 likes, I don't know if we hit it yet, but if we do, we'll give away. Actually, no, I think we already have hats for the giveaway tonight. Yo, shout out to Tony T. Said even then nobody would believe that. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, all right, let's jump in here. Let's take a look at CRV for our boy Had. Serve, or curve, as some people like to say. Let's take a look here. There it is. When did we hit this? This was on Thursday. Okay, yes. I think it was one of those times, right? I wish I could just remember exactly every single thing that we've looked at, but it just gets super hard to remember all these altcoins. All right, so, I mean, we're bouncing off the Golden Pocket POC. We put these levels here for a reason, guys. Golden Pocket, POC confluence. This is an area, right? Also the anchored VWAP, right? You have your low, your high or low. You lose the anchored VWAP, reclaim high or high. Beautiful trend to the upside. Also, where this high or low come in at came right on your Golden Pocket retracement, right? So that's when we use these Fibonacci retracements, we're using them to find higher lows and higher highs within the trend. So you have your low, your high, you have the higher low on that Golden Pocket that I just pulled. Then we get the higher high to come in on the break of structure. to the upside. You can even see your money flow is coming up very nicely here, indicating that you would get that continuation up. And then we deviate above the profile. We get back into the profile, and we push down to our new golden pocket POC, also confluent with the anchored VWAP. This is like almost the same kind of situation. Dip below the anchored VWAP, reclaim new high. Dip below the anchored VWAP, reclaim. Can we get the new high for the continuation of the trend? Does our money flow point towards it? Well, here on the 6 hour, it's nothing really to write home there. I would say that's about flat. Let's check the 4 hour money flow. 4 hour money flow looks very good. Also an indication that you would get the continuation up here. So yeah, I mean, you're bouncing off the golden pocket. Definitely a opportunity to hold the higher low for a potential higher high to come. Now, this is not guaranteed. It's also going to be a little bit longer term, right? This, you bounce, it takes you, 9 days to crack the high. So actually, it wasn't that long. It was a pretty massive pump. But yeah, I mean, just for context, golden pocket POC zone, this is an area where you could put in the higher low. The one thing is back here, you flip the low to support. You expect to go to the POC. You get it. You flip the POC. The only difference here is when we got this full rotation of the profile, this would have been your anticipation based off the volume profile. Break above the blow, right? You're eventually looking to go to the POC and eventually make it up to your high for the fulfill that volume profile. The magical laws of the volume profile. Here, we're actually approaching from the high, which would mean the anticipation here based off just the volume profile would be to see the fulfill of the range. This does not mean you have to see this, right? Because if we see high time frame money flow coming up, which unfortunately we don't have on the 3-day. I was kind of hoping for this to be in the green. Let's check the 2-day. 2-day money flow trying to come up. 4-day money flow in the red. 5-day money flow in the red. 6-day money flow bing-bonging around. Weekly money flow in the green. This is significant, I would say. VWAP coming up. So, yeah, again, markets have given a lot of mixed signals on the money flow, but I would say this weekly money flow being less noisy than a lot of the other time frames, we spent a whole lot of time in the red here. So, I would argue that there is a chance that you don't have to fill this entire volume profile. I would much rather the higher low come in here. I think there's a higher probability that the higher low comes in here rather than if you look for the bounce off the 786. Because in this context, once you lose this POC, sure, you might say to yourself, well, back here we bounced off the 786 that we just brought. Oh, no, it was the golden pocket. But the difference here, I want to explain the difference, right, because it's important. Back here, I'll even take this off the chart just to make it nice and clean and simple. Right? Back here, you might say, well, why would you look for a long below the POC? The answer to that question is you can still anticipate, you did not hit the value area high here, so you can still anticipate the fulfill of the range, which would make me more inclined to take a long below the POC. But when you approach from the high, the anticipation of the profile is once you lose that POC, you're going to the value area low. So I would not be interested really in a long position down here because you're just going to long into support, resistance, right? And then the idea of filling that whole profile, it's like I'd rather wait for down here. But because we got the bounce off the POC, I would say if we see a higher low, I would expect it to be here and less probable for it to be here. So not that I'm long CRV, but if I were looking for longs, I would take this long in the middle of the range. I would not take the long on the 786. If it went, whatever, I missed the trade. But I would be much more inclined to take the trade here because, again, once you're below the POC, you're expecting that rotation, right? But in this case, it could just be a POC retest before finally pushing up. Altcoins love to do that, right? Altcoins love to break out of their range and then retest the POC before a big move up. I think a good example of looking at that will be on Dogecoin. I bring this up almost every single time, like right here. What happens? You get a massive breakout, and then you retest the POC and bounce back to the upside, right? You perfectly retest that POC. Sometimes price likes to do that. But if I had a 786 below that POC, I would not be as interested, right? Because then I'm expecting the value area low. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I didn't just super confuse everybody, but it's important, right? It's like perfectly explained here on the charts. Maybe not perfectly explained by me. But there you go. Nice. Hold on that golden pocket. I mean, next target would technically be the value area high. And then once you break above that value area high, I would say could potentially look for the break of structure to the upside. Technically, you got to get above that 786 first. Yeah, technically got to get above this 786 at about $1.05, but I would just expect, watch this volume profile. Very nice support here. Whoops. If you're looking for a break of structure to the upside, I mean, this would be the place to do it at. I would not be really, I mean, you could do it here, but again, just based off what I've talked about, you're once you lose that POC, it's like, and we approach from the top, I'm looking for the low. So yeah, hoping for this. If you get another drop down, a 786, I mean, you could take shots. You could potentially look for the higher low there for a massive push up, but I personally would not. I would not enjoy that level as much as I would this one. So we'll see what happens. Weekly money flow looks good. 16-hour money flow looks good. 12-hour money flow in the green. 10-hour money flow and looking across into the green. And these lower time frames are just super sketchy, to be honest. 4-hour money flow looks good. So, yeah, hopefully that 4-hour money flow stays in the green and you can stay above that point of control. At the end of the day, you might even be able to retest the POC still. This zone is still technically valid because you didn't tap the POC. Golden Pocket's not as valid anymore because you filled that. But POC is still technically key support. So, I'll take this. I'll leave the Golden Pocket on there for context. So, hoping for the bounce there. All right, let's see. Did Alpine just die? Did we look at this on the premium? Oh, no, we looked at this yesterday. Somebody said give a best dump award goes to Alpine. Yeah, dang, this is yeah, it's crazy. That's crazy. Yikes, look at that. I mean, what is this daily candle? I mean, this weekly candle is going to be insane. 92% weekly candle is crazy work. I can't do much with this, if I'm being totally honest. I don't know what happened here. This is, I don't think TA is going to help you in this case, but that is a massive dump. It was a rising wedge. How could you not see it? Just wreck everybody shorting the rising wedge and then send it to zero. Maybe that was like just such a clean rising wedge. There was just so much liquidity based off that pattern. They just wrecked everyone and then sent it down. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, money flow coming into the red here on the 2-hour. Yeah, not much I can do on this chart, but holy dump. Crazy. Thanks for CRV. Shout out to Had. No problemo, brother. I told you I'd get to it for you, man. Let's see. Ondo. Yeah, let's take a look at Ondo. Let's take a look. Did we take a look at Beam yesterday? I think we did. But let's take a look at Ondo real quick. Am I blind? Where's Ondo? There it is. All right, let's take a look here. My stomach is growling like crazy, guys. Which means two things. I'm either really hungry or about to pause the live stream to sprint into the bathroom. I'm just kidding. I think I'm just hungry. All right, so Ondo. Still, we actually looked at this either yesterday or the day before, right? This is kind of similar to, let's see, that 4-hour. Yeah, 4-hour trying to get in the green here. A little choppy. Let's hope to get that back into the green. But from a context standpoint, right, deviation below your low. Right, you had your 4-hour bullish divergences with money flow trending to the upside, which is sometimes nice for a nice little bottom to form there. You've now reclaimed your value area low. Look at that value area low flip there, guys. Very similar to Bitcoin flipping the $112,600 value area low. Right? Very similar. Deviation below the low, flip it to support, and we fill the range in full. Ondo, obviously altcoins are going to be a little bit different, right? If Bitcoin decides to pull back, because understand Bitcoin's already filled the profile. If Bitcoin decides to come back down and fill this profile, Ondo's probably not going to get the fill. It's probably just going to dump from where we are. But just the theory is the same, right? You flip the value area low. Next target, in my opinion, would still be sitting here between the point of control and Golden Pocket at $1.0149 and $1.04. And then you just play that as a volume profile, right? Push into the POC, probably going to get a reaction there, right? Flip the Golden Pocket, you're looking to go to the 786. Flip the POC, you're looking to go to the value area high. Both those levels are confluent. If you can get this 4-hour money flow crossover into the green, it would look very clean to have a continuation up through the profile. But again, that would probably be maybe like Bitcoin at all-time highs. If Bitcoin pulls back, because remember, right, like you can have this bullish setup on Ondo, right? Not Cardano. On Ondo, you can have this setup, right? But if Bitcoin is already above its value and gets accepted back in and rotates its range, well, it's going to really struggle Ondo's really going to struggle getting through that profile, and you might just get rejected. So just keep that in mind. You can have a nice bullish setup with money flow trying to come into the green on an altcoin. If Bitcoin dumps, it's probably going to follow on the alts. That's why I say when you learn how to trade, master one asset. You don't have to chase the altcoins. Oh, but what if I miss a long over here? Got to get that out of your head, right? Just master that one asset, and then you could start exploring other things like altcoins, which obviously have a little bit more percentage gain opportunity. But like when you're starting to learn, if you really want to trade, right? If you want to jump on the charts and gamble, that's fine too, right? I'm not going to parent anybody, but if you really want to make money and trade these, if you really want to like replace your job and make consistent income extracting money out of these markets, like you have to learn the skill. And by focusing on the thing that moves most of the market, Bitcoin is probably going to be the easiest thing to do. And I say that because I learned the hard way. I'd see this, right? At the time, I wasn't really using volume profiles, but I would see a setup that I wanted to see. Money flow coming up. I'm going to look for that fill of the range. And then I'm like, this is perfect. This is perfect. I'm coming in. I'm in. Let's go. Send it. And then this thing would just doop. I'm like, what happened? And then I look back at Bitcoin. I'm like, oh, well, obviously Bitcoin was looking bearish. Why would I not pay attention to that? So, if you do trade altcoins, just make sure you're keeping an eye on Bitcoin as well. Definitely a ton of opportunity to trade the altcoins. But, again, if you're looking to like really learn how to trade, I would just recommend in your beginning phases, just stick to one asset. I know it's boring. I know it's not fun, right? But it's not, trading Bitcoin can be very fun, obviously. All right, let's see. Multi-sig dummy. What is going on, bro? He said, I put 2 BTC in link on the day of the corn moon. Currently not the greatest swap. I have faith in it. Not the greatest swap, but I have faith. If all else, I got Frankie. I got Frankie boy. Shout out to Multi-sig dummy. Let's go, baby. Dang. Dumping like 200K into, what did you say, Link? Let's go, baby. Let's go. Shout out to the Link Marines. Can alt season get here already? Shout out to Valley Forge. I hope so, man. I hope so. Altcoin bags are getting dusty, man. Yo, shout out to Satoshi said, I wasn't joking when I said I turned crypto money into gun money. Let's go. Hey, gun money is fun money, all right? All right, 6 more likes to 700. So I owe you guys $100. And speaking of that, guys, I didn't realize it's 7:32 already. Already going overtime here. Alt season's around the corner. Shout out to Nostro. Top G said, quick look at WIF if possible. Well, let's get into the giveaways, and then we will cover WIF for you, my man. Link, I'll write these down as maybe some honorable mention after stream looks. Link. WIF. Catch a whiff of WIF. Dark Lord, please bring me alt season. All right, so we got 10 bags of USDT, not Cardano, guys. We're giving away USDT now. It's much easier. So we're going to do 10 bags of USDT. We're going to do, Tony, do we have hats? I think we might have hats as well. Wow, this is a pretty big giveaway. We got the USDT. We got the, I believe, hats. Don't take my word for that just yet. Let Tony confirm. And we got another $100 in USDT to give away as well. Thank you for getting us up to those likes. Yeah, shout out to Giga Longbottom said, Frankie, Mrs. Candles is behind you with a knife. Ah! Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Mrs. Candles! Mrs. Candles! Sometimes I have to act like I'm in trouble, guys. Oh my God, I'm on fire. Mrs. Candles, please help me. Oh my God. Mrs. Candles. Oh my God, my pants are on fire. Please don't ignore me. I'm going to die. Mrs. Candles, please. Oh, she got here. Hey, come on over here, Mrs. Candles. Come on in. Come on in. No. What? No. I had to trick you or you were going to ignore me. No, I screamed back. Let me see that hand. I know. Give me your hand. I have clammy hands. I know. I'm sorry. Woo! Think I might have fractured her finger there, guys. Come on. Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin, Mrs. Candles. You were, oh my God, Mrs. Candles, you were wrong. You were wrong yesterday. I don't know. That came off my chair. I don't know what happened. I was getting a little wild in here. Oh, okay. That's okay. You can have a snack. Sweet treats are fine. But you said Bitcoin was going down yesterday. I got stopped out of a short. There you go. I should have done my own analysis. I'm just kidding. I did. But yeah, shout out to Mrs. Candles. Well, that was the first time I think you've ever been wrong. How do you feel about that? Okay, yeah, you're always right. I forgot. Always right. Never wrong. All right. You're wonderful. I love you. I'll see you very soon. I'm just about wrapping up here. Huh? Yes, we can get dinner. It depends on what you want. Why is it always A5 Japanese Wagyu? Why don't we get pizza or something? She's like, pizza. All right. Anyway, shout out to Mrs. Candles. She was wrong yesterday, but hey, if she's going to be wrong, we'd rather her be wrong for a move to the upside. Let's go. We did sniff her hand, too, I think, so that might have made the pump. All right. Shout out to Tony D. No, you're always right. You are always right. There it is. Tony D with the USDT winners. Joe, Bryce, Steve did that. Shout out to Steve will do it. Steve did that. Shout out to Humble Servant. Feels Good Gaming, Crypto Paisa. Shout out to Crypto Paisa. Nacho Libre, PSP Gaming. Let's go. Sir Crypto the Third, Cuz I Can Bump It, or Koozie Can as I like to call him. Let's go. The hat winners are Rudy, Top G, and Felix. We got Top G rocking a CandleMafia hat. I love it, baby. I love it. Tony D said we're having pizza tomorrow. Let's go. Shout out to Tony D. He's making homemade pizza tomorrow, guys. I can't wait. I can't wait. All right, Tony, can you do one more giveaway winner unless I'm totally shot and missed that winner? I'm going to give away $100 for hitting the like goal today. Because I trolled everybody yesterday and said if money flow was crossed over into the green on some altcoin, I was pretty confident it was going to be the case. And I said it was either coming up or crossing into the green. If it's not, I'll give someone $100 tomorrow. And price was about to cross into the green, but it was kind of questionable. So I'll give you guys that little freebie, $100. So Tony, pick one more winner. Who's it going to be? I'm rooting for Trade Made. I think Trade Made deserves the $100, or maybe K Diddy for changing his name to K Diddy. He deserves the $100 too. Come on, baby, come on. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Turtles in the chat. Turtles, increase your chances of winning, guys. Turtles, increase your chances of winning. Turtles and candles. I'm appealing this decision to the high courts of candles. Shout out to Giga Longbottom. He's gonna get that giveaway. Giga Longbottom, I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you. We're rooting for you for the $100. Come on, baby. Come on. Tony D says, Frankie. Oh, there we go. $100 winner. Zest for Life had to do a separate chat. Shout out to Tony D. Let's go. Shout out to Zest for Life. Beep. Zest for Life, would you please report to the Frankie Candle studio? You just won $100 in USDT. Let's go. Shout out to shout out to Zest for Life. But there we go. Turtles in the chat. Crypto Paisa said, oh my God, I win. I can't believe it. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Paisa. Congratulations to everybody that won some free crypto. And if you didn't win free crypto, smash that like button. Maybe it'll help for your luck on the next live streams. But guys, we'll see what happens up here as we tap into this resistance. We're not tap into the resistance, but as we reject the resistance up here, if we get the pullback, those key levels of support down here sitting between 120 to 119.2. Lose that. Last line of defense, in my opinion, is 118.324 to 117.7. Once we lose that, I am going to be looking for the bigger drop down through the profile. We have some other levels in there, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So pray for Bitcoin. Come on, Bitcoin. Don't dump now. You just went red. You just flipped red there. Let's go back up. Turn it green. Turn it green. Turn it green. I'm not getting off until we get this green candle. Flip green. Come on, 10-minute green 10-minute green candle, guys. That's the wrap here. That's the wrap. Come on. What do you set your value area high and low to percentage of the box? 70% value area always. 70% value area always. There you go. Shout out to Joseph Walter. Great question, bro. Next week on the Frankie Candles live stream. Did I actually win, Frankie? Top G, you did win, bro. You did win. And you're going to be rocking that Frankie Candles hat on that beautiful, beautiful bald Top G head. Let's get it. Shout out to King of Temke. Said, can you explain if you were a market maker how you would make money? Shout out to King of Temke. Well, I would probably just wreck a bunch of retail traders. No, I'm not 100% sure exactly what you mean by that. I would probably set massive limit orders. If I had to guess, there's that green candle. That's the end of the stream. Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what kind of answer you're looking for here, but I would probably try to create a bunch of liquidity and get people trapped into trades and then set massive limit orders and then run those stops into my massive limit order and then sell it off. Or I guess my limit order would be the thing selling it off. I wouldn't fill my limit order and then hit a button to sell it off. It would just fill my limit order and push price down. So yeah, probably try to engineer liquidity and take out stop losses to fill my larger limit orders, because I can't use market orders like retail because I'm trading with hundreds of millions of dollars, and slippage fees doesn't make sense. Can't do it. So there you go. I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for, but that's the best I got for you. Let's see. He has to wear it on stream. Prove it's really him. Shout out to Michael S. Yes, Top G, you're invited to the Frankie Candle studio to show off that beautiful, beautiful Frankie Candles hat. But guys, with all that being said, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. Smash that like button on your way out. It greatly helps this channel out, guys. I'm going to have to probably take Mrs. Candles out to get some pizza, hopefully not Wagyu. I'm just kidding. I want Wagyu, too. I love Wagyu. It's like my new thing, guys. Wagyu is fire. Mrs. Candles introduced me to Japanese Wagyu, and it's like the best thing I've ever eaten in my entire life. I wish I could eat it for every meal. But yeah, with all that being said, thank you guys for being here. Smash that like button on your way out. I will see you. Go touch some grass. Have a good weekend. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. I want to see everybody in here next week. Please be safe. Go touch some grass. The charts will be here when you get back. Bitcoin, come on, baby. Make it to new all-time highs. Don't give us the fake out. And I'll see you guys on Monday. If something crazy happens over the weekend, I'll drop an update or something for you guys. Until then, that's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
J like the letter, I'm making several waves. I know the mission the same. I made a splash, now all of my passes last like running a race with Usain. I keep it coming like this is a buffet. And if I'm stumbling, I'm in the graves. Never gon' fumble it. I get the bag and I run with it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it. Murray with the legs, all about finesse. I am not impressed. I don't need a rash coming in with less, then you see the flash. Elohim with the melody and then he supply the breath. 70, keep it heavenly, everybody get the bread. I got the bread and I got the juice. I got some dogs and I let them loose. Bring in the storm and this ain't the Zeus. Walk in the skies but this ain't the loot. This ain't the truth. We ain't the same, you ain't have a clue. I'm in the game and untouchable. Cause I got the flame and this is the proof. Loading my tote, I still want all the smoke. We ain't talking about jokes, we just talking about more. I see all of my goals and it's looking like gold. I ain't asking for hope cause I know that it's show. Now you seeing me blow. This is premeditated, I've been underrated. That's an understatement, I ain't coming later. The abundance came when I allowed my
It's a good one.
He the one who made it, so I'm in my bag. I died way before I ever raise a white flag. Shooting right back, raise the price tag. Chasing down all of these ghosts to light grab. Who could really stop me is what I ask. Homie, you can never get your time back. Only me and my reflection fight back. That's why this beat gon' probably need an ice pack. Just like the 26, I'm finna run with it. I ain't gon' punt, we ain't taking it knee. I keep the starters and we going farther like T.O. and Philly, we throwing it deep. This only possible through all the obstacles. I went ahead and I found me some peace. It's why my reflection is rocking the cheese. J like the letter, I'm making several waves. I know the mission the same. I made a splash, now all of my passes last like running a race with Usain. I keep it coming like this is buffet. And if I'm stumbling, I'm in the graves. Never gon' fumble it. I get the bag and I run with it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it. Murray with the legs, all about finesse. I am not impressed. I don't need a rash coming in with less, then you see the flash. Elohim with the melody.
All right, guys, that's a fire one. I don't think I've ever played that before. That's the first time I've heard that one. But a couple people asking how to claim the prizes. Just go to the free Discord, and free Discord, link in the description down below. Go to the help center, and you'll be able to claim your prize there. We will not ask you to send us any money. Please just be aware. I don't know exactly how it works. Tyler and Tony do that. But yeah, we're only going to ask for an address. No seed phrases, no passwords, nothing like that. Just a address for us to send you the money. So go to the free Discord, go to the help center, claim your free prize. And I know I said we would take a look at WIF, but I'm going to keep it on the list for next week, guys. You know what? Screw it. Shout out to, I think Top G wanted to see WIF. We can't disappoint Top G. But taking a look at WIF here. Nothing really. We just still have the lower value and the upper value. Just real quick, speed run here. Holding the value area high is key support. We took out these liquidations down here. Next key level of resistance, in my opinion, we could technically chop that down just a little bit more. Value area low, golden pocket would be the next key level. And then you have your POC, 786, next key level after that. So if you could push up here, be careful of resistance, sitting between 80 and 83 cents. If you're able to get reaccepted inside of this profile and push into the golden pocket 786 POC, this is the level to break, in my own personal opinion. POC is close to the value area low, so it's kind of this entire zone. Get above the value area low, but it's not until you break this 786/POC where I would look for the bigger move up. Value area high sitting at $1.07. Quick and dirty. There's tons of other stuff we could look at here, but I didn't want to leave you completely lost in the dark. 80 cent value area low, 85 cent POC. Value area high at $1.10. There you go, Top G. I think you're the one that asked for that. But now, that's actually all the time I got for today's live stream, guys. I'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor,